All right, welcome to BDQ Cast. I am CoDameron. I am here with my co-host Kiramode,
How's it going, everyone?
and we are here to cast the finals of the Gencon Vault tour, which happened about a week and a half ago, about like 10 days ago. This is a final between Dave Cordiero and Trevor May, right? And we have all of their deck lists. We're gonna go over them, and we're going to talk about this game. We're going to commentate it over the FFG official stream, and I'm really excited to talk about it because it is a series of great games. We did see this game, though, right?
Yeah, we came in about halfway through the whole match. So, early on we missed pieces, so we'll be blind to that. We know what happens, but we're always going to talk more specifically, case by case, what's the right decision versus not.
Yeah, I remember this game happening over the course of a little while, and I wasn't standing over it really until the end, and I even then was kind of playing into the moment instead of I wasn't making analysis. I'm like, oh my god, what's he gonna do next? Is he gonna hold that card? Is he gonna play that card? What's their choices? And we have some. I'm excited to get to those points. Like, are there things that happen in these games that influence these later decisions? I think step one is to look at the deck lists, right? So yeah, we're gonna start. Let's start here. Let's start with Dave's list. This is Nuvolari, the Strongly Apologetic. And here it is. I'll hide those things. They can go away for now. This is a crazy deck, right? What are the first things that you see in this deck? Because I can name a lot of things.
A million urchins that I see there.
There's only 5 of them. There's 2 Umbras, but there is a Fagin. Yeah, so that feels
3
like
poison
at least
waves.
6. Is 3 Poison Waves good with 5 Urchins, 2 Umbras, 2 Dust Pixies, and Inca? His whole board goes away to his 3 Poison Waves.
I mean, I think his board goes away anyways, right? Like, I think when you play this deck, like if you treat it like a burst house, right? Well, this deck might just be a racing deck, so there might not be any house composition. But if my turn is play Poison Wave, then play dudes, that's probably fine. Like if I play an Urchin or an Umbra, it's highly unlikely that card's going to live to my next Shadows play. And my next Shadows play isn't even guaranteed to have a Poison Wave.
Or at least the next 3 Shadow plays, because I'm not mad about Reap Urchin, play Poison Wave, and wipe out important guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But racing deck-wise, double Dust Pixie, Nature's Call, Key Charge. That's the thing, right? I mean, there's also Witch of the Eye, there's also World Tree, so there's a little bit of recursion. The double Nocturnal Maneuver is really nice with the Nature's Call and the cooperative hunting. The Grasping Vines is a nice little, here's a little bit of artifact control. Like, I know that we're not going to run into many AoA decks, but if there's a heart deck, you have an answer. You can Grasping Vines, Key Charge. It's like a way to actually win under those locks. It's a non-zero.
Yeah. Can we do a quick count of how many cards generate amber here? It looks like a lot this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
I can't count
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
How many counting in the Nature's Call as? It's 1, but is it 2?
Well, so I just counted 20 cards that generate amber. A lot of these are 2s though. Like the Urchins are functionally 2s because they steal 1. Dust Pixies are 2s. Nature's Call can functionally be like a 3 if it gets you a Dust Pixie. Poison Wave can functionally be more than 1 if you take away amber from your opponent. But I would just count how many physical cards are in the deck that can get you an amber.
You counting Bumpsy? I mean, no, but I mean no. It's an amber play. Right?
The only one that I was kind of iffy on is, do you count Loot the Bodies?
I was going to say that too.
I counted that as 1.
I counted as 1 in here. I mean, I like Brothers in Battle. I like Anger. I like Mighty Javelin. I like Punch. I like Coward's End. There are Follow the Leader 2 also is a thing. I mean, you're not using Follow the Leader on Brothers in Battle for your Urchins, but maybe you get number out of it one day.
Yeah, I counted 20 cards that can physically gain you 1 amber at the very least, reliably. And then and then there's a bunch of cards that take away amber too. Like I'm looking at that too, where I'm looking, okay, you got to burn the stockpile. You got your Bumpsy. You have 5 Urchins. Miasma doesn't take away amber, but it blocks a key. Fagin can also function as a steal. Umbras can steal. That's pretty real as far as amber control and the ability to generate amber.
I could argue this as having not as many amber control cards because there's not a lot of big plays outside of burn the stockpile, but at the speed this thing is going to race, I'm not mad at that. This has enough to make me happy. It has the board control. I like the Mighty Javelin, the Punch, the Coward's End. These are things that bring back this really weak, squishy Shadows Untamed line.
The Brobnar house only having 4 creatures, one of which is a drummer, kind of rough. So like the Brobnar house is probably the most suspect house in this deck, just because it doesn't do anything that the deck necessarily needs it to do.
Sure. But I don't mind it. I really don't mind it in here.
Yeah. The Shadows is ballin'. The Untamed is really powerful. Also, I do like that there is control across 3 houses. So, like, this deck against another racing deck seems obscenely powerful. Poison Wave wipes the boards of any, like, Shadows, Untamed, Mars, Logos deck, right?
Yep.
You also have a, what's it called? Nocturnal Maneuver to slow down people's Amber generation. And then you yourself are generating a bunch of Amber quick. So, like, I don't know what, like, the expected Amber on this deck would be, but I would assume it'd be very, very high.
I say I don't want to look at the SAS or ARC scores.
Yeah, no, we don't need to do that.
I'm just saying, maybe at the end we take a look at it, but really, let's also just kind of mention that, hey, these are the 2 finals decks. We know that they're good, and clearly this deck has what it takes to do great stuff. All right, let's look at the other one, right? Because I mean, this is straightforward. It's gonna go fast. It's gonna be mean.
Well, something to point out here is that, like, this deck's never building a board, right? Like, you look at the Untamed, you have 4 creatures, 2 of which are Dust Pixies. You look at the Brobnar, you have only 3 legitimate creatures in there, and then in the Shadows, while you technically have 8 creatures, they're all incredibly soft. So the only way you're winning with this deck is it has to be Amber from hand, right? Like you cannot.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's no delta in this deck. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I mean you can reap every now and again when your opponent lets you, but it's because your opponent lets you. You have to win by getting Amber out of your hand.
Is there a world where you? I mean, maybe that kind of plays into why you're playing the Poison Waves to kill your Urchins. You play them to steal. Next turn you reap with them, and then you wipe them out with the Poison Wave.
Yeah, I think just expect that you're not going to get them again. You know, like the Amber's Amber. And that's all you're playing.
I want to see how he uses the Nature's Call. I mean, obviously it's going to be for double Dust Pixie as often as possible, but, like, will he use it on an Urchin? Will he ever use it on his Bumpsy or his War Drummer? I want to see if he ever makes that play. Oh, this is adaptive, so if either player makes that play. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, this is such New Valari, the Strongly Apologetic. I'll have the name kind of up sometimes. Okay, this is the other one. This is the Snappy Pariah. This is Trevor's deck, the deck Trevor brought, the one he owns.
Yeah.
I think actually he might be borrowing it from Grant Titus, who is StrongLink, who is one of the helpers who makes a lot of the digital content. So these guys test a lot. These guys are all good players. Oh, Dave Cordiero, he's the head of Team Reapout, I think. Big team of people, good players, nice people. But these are like established players, I think, or at least, you know, they're very active in the community, and they come with some good decks. So, okay, Double Doorstep is really good.
Love it already. That's my favorite card.
Yep.
So, I see 2. I'm happy. I don't love that there's only 5 Sanctum creatures. So Sanctum, they really want to play towards the board, and only having 5 means it's going to be really hard to build an imposing Sanctum board that you want. So they're definitely, like, this one doesn't look like a racing deck. This one looks like it has a more traditional.
There's a lot of nuance in here that I'm really looking at here. Okay, so the thing I see is a real house division here. And like the double Shadow Self, double Dodger, that's a real set of cards. And I don't mind the 1 bad penny. It's not great, but I don't mind it.
I mean, it looks like 1 main house and 2 support houses.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's really what it looks like to me. And it's weird that this is your main house here, but, like, it has a bunch of creatures.
Yeah.
And it also, like, it has cards that you don't necessarily want to hold on to for super long, I don't think.
I don't love filtering 3 Fates and Gateway, but, like, you know.
You might have to. Like, you just gotta get rid of them.
Yeah. I don't love this Dis house. The Dis house is a little weird. The Tolus interests me. I don't know how to feel about the Tolus. I mean, I love the Restringantis. I like it with the Shadow Self. Oh, you know what? Double Potion of Invulnerability plus Tolus is kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's
you could. Yeah, the thing about Tolus or this, like, this house in general, like as I'm looking at this deck, is that I remember we've had a conversation off camera where we talked about, like, what makes a good board, right? And so a lot of times there's decks that look like they have good boards when you play them, but actually have trash boards.
I know what deck you're talking about.
They only look good because you're playing against like decks that have even worse boards. So like if you look at the like Dave's deck, that deck's going to build 0 board in this game. Like he has no creatures. I look at this deck and like there are some suspect cards here board control wise. You're looking at like I have 5 big dudes in Sanctum. I got 2 Shadow Selves, 2 Dodgers, which are also big, 2 Schulers, which are big, and a Charette, which just comparatively looks giant compared to Urchins.
Yeah, I really like. I don't think the Charette ever dies unless it gets double Poison Waved or Poison Wave punched. I really like the Dodgers. I think they fight into Urchins and Dust Pixies all day long. I don't think that the Witch of the Eye ever lives past a turn. I don't think these Shadow Selves or this Bulwark really goes anywhere. This Bulwark isn't going to die. Right?
Yeah, like so the Bulwark, let's say, like if you look at the Shadows and Sanctum, like the 2 support houses, the Shadow Selves and the Bulwark and the Protectrix, they enable cards from your main house, your Ember Imps, your Restringuntuses, your Tolus to actually live for a long time.
Okay, the thing is, we call a main house as a thing that you want to declare over and over. I really don't want to declare this house very often. They're all play effects outside of Pit Demon and like the passive effects, the Tola, the Ember.
Yeah,
I think. But
at some point you have to reap though, right? At some point you have to say, I call this house and I reap a bunch of times. I think you're doing that with Dis more often than the other 2. That's all.
No, I think that's fair.
But you have really good control effects too. Like I like the double Poison Wave. I like the Lights Out. Gateway's a little suspect in this deck particularly, but the 3 Fates is great. Like that could potentially swing board states.
But I mean, level with me here. I've seen stronger looking decks before. Right? I've seen decks with more degenerate shadows lists. I mean, outside of the double doorstep, like double doorstep might just be the juice. Really. Right? And I guess
it's a juice when I play.
I guess playing those correctly is going to be this game. And the one control of the week is in the Restringuntus. I say often that house calls like control of the week, Restringuntus, are the hardest things to do in this game.
I think. I mean, you're right. Like, instinctively, this deck does not look obscenely powerful. I think if you're looking where the sauce is, it's that you have Bulwark and you have 2 Shadow Selves, and then you have 2 Ember Imps and a Restringuntus. So, like, there's going to be games where you play Restringuntus next to a Shadow Self, and that Shadow Self has a Bulwark next to him, and it's like you can't get this guy off the table.
How is Dave going to deal? I flip back to Dave's here. I guess outside of the Coward's End, the Nature's Call is kind of nice too.
Yeah, Nature's. I mean, he has answers.
Maneuver doesn't do as much. Okay, there are answers. Cooperative hunt. Like I could see Nature's Call, cooperative hunting doing something.
The Nature's Call is probably the big one because if you can remove the protection from like an Ember Imp or something, that's huge.
The Mighty Javelin is nice.
Is good. Yeah. Like he has answers. It's not like Dave's deck has a lot of control, which is like his deck actually looks incredible. I think Dave's deck's probably the better deck, but I think that in this matchup, it's not what his deck's necessarily teched against. Like that's where the advantage swings the other way to Trevor, where it's like Dave's deck doesn't really want to deal with a bunch of fat creatures. It wants to deal with a bunch of babies that the poison waves can wipe out, and you can race the head of. Right. And it also definitely doesn't want to deal with doorstep.
Definitely not. And I think that's I think the key charge is a good way to get around it. There's nothing here increasing key cost, which is kind of nice, like explicitly. One thing I just kind of noticed, I was kind of looking through the lists, there's only one artifact, World Tree, in Dave's deck, and there's Custom Buffs and the Gormavom here. Maybe that's going to be lost value. Maybe he's been getting value off of that during the tournament. I don't know. It's kind of insurance.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll notice that, because also, like, how many artifacts does Trevor have? Like, does he have any? He has 2 potions.
And the Gorm, and the Customs Office, and the Special Delivery. It's enough. It's 4 or 5?
Yeah, so...
There's Amber on a lot of them, though.
I don't know if you'll notice this, because, like, you only get 2 minutes to look at cards. But, like, maybe there's a world where you actually don't play your Gorm of Arm, because you don't want it to get bounced.
Oh, the Grasping Vines. Yeah.
By vines, right? So you might look at Gorm of Arm and Customs Office and just don't play them. You still play the potions, because they still get you an Amber.
Yep.
And you can trigger them any turn.
Yep.
So that's not too bad. But the other ones, maybe you consider just being like, you know what, I'm good.
And the lights out is going to be weird too, right? There's a lot of creatures you don't want to bounce.
Oh yeah, you bounce the Bropper guys.
Well, you can't bounce the Bumpsy, and the War Drummer doesn't do a ton. And the Smash. you like bounce Fire Spitter and Fagin is like, and
yeah, I guess there's not that many good options. The Umbers you probably just kill over bounce.
I don't know. I mean, but like I just want to see how the game plays out, right?
Yeah, let's see it.
So we're on the FFG stream, right?
Yep.
We are casting our things over it, and you can. Thanks again to FFG. But just by the way, FFG. Oh, don't look at that. Oh crap! You didn't see that. I thought this was game 1.
Yeah, you can just cut it out later.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Oh, that's my bad. Games are. I remember this game being long. Don't look at it.
Yeah, we'll probably have this.
I should just cut back to this. Okay, maybe I should cut this out. Okay, this game is long. Okay, don't look at any of that. Maybe I'll cut that out or something. All right, here's the game. Okay, and the final. Okay, they have 2 hours to play the final game.
Yeah.
Right. FFG did cast this. They did a good job. They did a better job than I did. They didn't reveal the end before it came out. But there's Carson. Yeah. Carson's the head judge. Carson's a great guy. I love Carson. What's the difference in this game? What's going to be the moment where one player wins or the other one? Is it the doorsteps? Is it the key charge?
So I think it comes down to there's two swing things, right? Dave's going to do what he's going to do. He's a racing deck, right? Like there's not a whole lot of thought process with that. I think what it comes down to is Trevor's going to need a couple things to happen. He's either going to need like his control effects and disc to stick and like slow down Dave's progress to the point where he can't do anything.
Right.
Or he's going to need the doorsteps to hit at proper times. Like if those doorsteps come either too early or too late and Dave can just race a bunch of amber, it's over. And if Dave cannot get interrupted by the discards, it's probably over because he doesn't have enough Sanctum guys or Shadows guys to really pressure the board in that sense.
So something I want to note is Dave has drawn all 4 of his Brobnar creatures on turn 1.
That's pretty gross.
That's a keep. That's always a keep. But I bet that I bet Trevor called Shadows here, right? Because of the.
Oh yeah. He 100% called Shadows there because like you don't want the Fagin to do anything. Like because also if your opponent plays a turn 1 Fagin, that probably means they have an Urchin that they have.
Well, at the very worst, then the Fagin can fight into the Restringantis, right? You don't give him the option. But yeah, the Urchin. I mean, if you got 5 Urchins in the Fagin's turn 1, you call Shadows. And the poison waves.
4 creatures feels pretty bad there. It's like and all my guys got stunned too. Like that's a monster draw by Dave there.
And Trevor's hand is also pretty bad.
He has a gateway. I think he'd play it, to be honest.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You wipe out all of his Brobnar guys, so now his Brobnar is never going to be able to reap. And then you lose the Restringantis, but whatever. He plays it.
You know why I'm okay with this play? What I didn't like about this play is it lets Dave get out to this huge advantage, right? It lets him 3 turns you're under chains, and he's only lost his Brobnar creatures. He doesn't really care about those to race, right? That's just filtering, if anything.
It's more important for Trevor than it is for Dave, right? Because Trevor, the only way he wins this game is by reaping.
The reason I'm happy with that, though,
to not be there.
The reason I'm really happy with that play is Trevor has no Amber, right? Trevor hasn't even tried to get any Amber this game yet, right? So that means all of the Urchins that Dave might have are just not worth it, right? I don't know if Trevor's playing to this, but that's absolutely a strength that he has in the moment, that he hasn't put Amber into the game yet.
I think that's more coincidence than anything. I mean, we're only a couple turns in.
Fair.
But like, let's see what he does here. I mean, Dave not having Brobnar is a big deal. Because like that's your nightmare scenario for Trevor if he just has a bunch of Brobnar guys and can actually start cleaning up your board. Because then you can't win. So him having the gateway there was pretty good. Like it's like one god draw just counters the other one pretty much there.
Just kind of as an answer to those disc tools that Trevor needs to leverage.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little long term, but I don't mind the thought process.
And then Dave's turn was like mostly a potato turn. Like he did a whole lot of nothing that turn. It's like he regrowth the guy, he bounced to one dude which Nature's Call is really important in this game. But also he just had too many untamed cards and not play it. Like you gotta just get all the cards. It was like the right choice, it just feels bad.
And the Urchins aren't valuable yet. Like, you get the Fagin back, which is nice.
Okay, I'd like to see what Trevor's hand was there. Did he?
2-2-2.
Oh, okay.
Still 2-2-2, or rather, it was 2-2-1 plus the Schuler from Nature's Call.
Okay.
Right. It was not a fun hand.
Yeah, I guess that's I'm like that's a trash turn, but I don't know if he had more card options.
Not really. He also has a bad penny in hand, so Trevor's not drawing well, but he's playing fine. He plays the gateway, which. I'm coming around to it. I probably would have figured that out in the moment. I would have gotten there, but
yeah, no one's done anything criminal yet. Like they're both making pretty obvious plays here.
Does Dave hold the urchin?
Dave's just passively playing Amber here.
Dave just held the urchin.
Wait, he has an urchin in hand?
He has an urchin in hand. I'm fairly certain he does. I remember seeing one earlier.
I mean, if he has it, he needs to play it. Right.
They're counting Amber right now. They're just making sure that the Amber count is right. 2 from Charette, 2 from the Poison Waves. But I'm pretty sure Dave is holding an urchin. I hope I'm not wrong. I remember seeing one. I remember thinking about it. That's why I was talking about.
I mean, he had picked up the Fagin off of the regrowth. I don't know if I saw an urchin.
Oh, we
don't really get a good look at his hand.
Okay, so he just drew an urchin. He held an urchin.
Oh, he held it?
Dave just held an urchin. I don't like that play.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Because, how much Amber's he at? He's at 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you play the urchin...
No, he's at 4. He's at 4. But urchin doesn't steal.
I know, but it still threatens with Fagin later, right? Forces your opponent to do something about it.
No, I really don't like the urchin hold, because you don't draw the extra card. The urchin could be a reap. Right? Because Fagin only bounces from board or from hand, right? Or from board or discard. Right? Well,
also, the urchin, what it also does is, if you play it, it's a guy that your opponent has to deal with, but drawing another card in a deck that's a racing deck, a card's effectively, half to 0.75 Amber every single card you draw. And actually, in Dave's deck, it's probably an average of 1, because so many of his cards do 2. So...
Oh, look at that play. Okay. Did you see what just happened? Trevor plays Inspiration to ready and I think fight with the Bulwark, choosing not to reap because he knows that Dave is going to have urchins in there somewhere. He intentionally didn't reap with the Bulwark. Love it. Trevor smart. Trevor doing the thing.
So he just discarded then, right? I don't...
Yeah, no, he didn't reap with the Bulwark, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right? Which I love that play.
That's smart. Wait until your board's ready to actually do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think you gotta let this first key go, though, probably.
Yeah.
I think Dave just got to 6. Even if you have... Actually, he has a Relentless Whispers and a Poison Wave. So he can... Whispers, Poison Wave, probably kill Fagin. Actually, I'd kill the Witch, honestly.
So I think you gotta kill the Witch because of the World Tree. If you kill the Fagin, then he goes Witch and World Tree, and he gets 2 Shadows cards back.
Well, I'd be more concerned about the Nature's Call. So if his next turn is Reap, Witch, Nature's Call, bounce my whole board, that feels terrible.
Right. Well, the other... Okay, sure, but what I'm saying is the World Tree also gets the Fagin back, and that's no good.
Yeah. Well, it gets Fagin to top of deck. But yeah, that...
Trevor's thinking.
He's probably... I mean, they're both scary. I think the instinctive move is to get the Fagin, but I think you definitely got to get the Witch. Just the fact that there's already a Nature's Call in there means you have to take her out.
No, I'm all for killing the Witch of the Eye. This is assuming you go Shadows, which is almost certain. Do you play the Penny? Next to the Bulwark or not next to the Bulwark? I think I pitched the Penny here.
Let me think here. You think about Dave's deck. It's not the worst idea to play next to the Bulwark. If you had a Shadow Self, you definitely play it.
Sure, agreed. Plays it away from the Bulwark just to flex on the Poison Wave.
No, I think it's so the bad Penny bounces before the shields. I think is the idea there. I don't think he wants to...
He pitched it anyway. It was a flex. I love the flex. I'm all about that play.
Okay, so he does take out the Witch of the Eye, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
It also takes Dave off a check, which is nice. now Dave doesn't have a good Shadows turn here though. I don't think, because like he kept the Urchin, or does he have a second one in there?
He drew an Urchin. He had the Urchin. He still has 2 Urchins.
Okay, so
like there's 5 in the
Shadows
deck.
Isn't bad.
You're gonna have to get hit with 5 of them throughout the game, minimum.
Yeah. I think you just accept that.
Yeah. I mean, there's World Tree, there's Fagin, yeah. And look at this. They're playing quick. They're playing, hey, let's just make sure we know how our deck works. So you play the Urchin, then you Reap, then and he lets them do it out of order. They're saving time. But that's 3 Urchin hits so far. That's all the Amber that he's ever made. Rough.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, though, how hard are you going to play against that? Like, I think Dave getting a key here is not as big of a deal as the board. Like, so the board that just got built here is now relevant because now you have 2 Dodgers, so you can actually start stealing from your opponent.
He doesn't put the Dodgers next to... Both the Dodgers are away from the Borg and the Shadow Self. He's saving the Shadow Self for diseffects. I want to know if it's going to be the Ember Imp or the Tolus, but that's what he's saving it for, which I find very interesting.
There's another Urchin in there, so like...
Of course there is.
Although Trevor doesn't have Amber, so like this is otherwise like a disgusting board. Oh, he better not hold the Urchin though.
It's Reap 3, bounce other Urchin, play Miasma for 6, and pass? Okay, Dave is making playstyle choices. No. Okay, at least he's being consistent, okay? Let's give him some credit for being consistent.
He's holding all Urchins then. Mm-hmm. Right? Like so if the Urchin doesn't steal, he's not playing it.
And does this kind of put like Trevor in this sort of locked out position?
Right? Until Trevor gets the cards he needs.
Trevor isn't allowed to make 2 or less Amber, right?
Once he deals with the Fagin, he's fine. Because like Dave already gave himself 1 chain for the 1 Urchin, and now he's given himself 2 more chains. So he's given himself 3 chains so far. And if he decides to call a non-Shadows house next turn, which is very likely, then he's going to have even more chains, you know?
So, okay. Here's the order of operations. We go fight with Shadow Self, right? And then fight with Unprotected Dodger to keep the other Shadow Self fresh into Fagin. Like, Trevor is making very interesting choices on his Shadow Selves, and I think it's because he knows how Dave's deck is supposed to work. Is that the Coward's End? Ooh, that's the Coward's End.
I mean, keeping him damage is nice.
Well, here's the thing. I think that Trevor is trying to play around all the poison waves, and he made a choice there. He could have put 3 damage from the other Dodger onto the other Shadow Self that's fresh. He didn't do that, right? He fought into the Fagin with the damageable Dodger, right? He's probably playing around the poison wave, which this also doesn't do, but notably, he doesn't play around the board wipe, the Coward's End.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Trevor made choices here to play around certain things, and not playing around that board wipe is interesting.
There's 3 poison waves to 1 Coward's End, right?
Right. That's a big hit, because he was really setting up for those to get... He was going to put Tolus and Ember Imp next to those things, because they're there on his hand, and he goes, well, I guess there goes my plan. Double Ember Imp and a Tolus? Come on, that would have been amazing. Against the Shadow Selves?
Him calling Brobnar here means he has 2 additional chains from those Urchins that he didn't play. And like those Urchins wouldn't be dead if he played them here, I don't think, right? Well, actually, he would because of the Coward's End.
They would be.
But, well, they would still be alive because he played Brothers in Battle too, right? So he could have suicided the Urchins to kill one, like actually kill both of them. Actually, yeah. Because you're gonna suicide him, like might as well just run him in there.
He could have wiped the entire board and drawn more cards.
Yeah, so like Dave now has 2 less cards now or 4 less cards now than he could have had, and on top of that, now Trevor has 2 additional creatures that he shouldn't have, and that's just like directly tied to him holding these damn Urchins. I mean, I don't know. We'll see if this pays off.
I agree with you. I think that this playstyle is incorrect. I don't like this playstyle, but Dave is, if anything, he is a unique player. I have played against him a little bit, and I know that he has a lot of skill. I know that he knows how to play this game, and he's beaten me a lot. So I want to know like why he's holding these things, right? Like he's not doing it for no reason, and he values that steal. I wonder if it's important to the deck or his play style. You know?
So the double Ember Imps is very relevant here because the board wipe's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's 2 Ember Imps on the table, so Dave's just going to be on 2 cards for the rest of the game. We'll see if
2 urchins.
Discard. Yeah, I mean, I wonder what he does with, like, does he have any other Untamed cards in his hand? Like, does he keep them, or does he...
He uses World Trade for a 3rd Urchin on top of the Umbra that he has in hand. I bet you he pitches that Umbra. He now has 4 Urchins and an Umbra in his hand against 2 Dust Imps. And remember, he played 2 of his 3 Poison Waves already. Poison Wave is the best out he has.
So there's a Doorstep, which is... That's the right time to play that card. Because now you actually have the board that can really threaten a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
See, Gormavom is kind of whatever there.
And the other thing is, so one thing that we're not mentioning about Dave is that Trevor has knowledge of at least 2 of the Urchins in Dave's 5-card hand. Right?
Yep.
So that's why he can play, say, the Gormavom, not be afraid of the nature's...
well, there's actually 3 Urchins in his hands.
No, there's 4 in his hand, but Trevor knows of 2 of them, is what I'm saying. Because he picked
No,
one
he
up
knows of 3 because he knows that there's the one that he picked up, and then he put one on top of his deck.
That's 2.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't know about the 3rd one. Okay, yeah,
right. There's 4 in his hand and an Umbra. His hand is 4 Urchins and an Umbra. And he is under double Ember Imp. And he plays the Umbra into a Tolus? What is going on? So Tolus is the anti-Soul Snatcher. If Trevor gets aggressive, then he gets Amber.
So now holding the Urchins here is actually not terrible. Just because you only play 2 cards a turn anyways.
No, I don't like it. Because the Umbra needs to be discarded. That needs to be cycled. Right? Because you can still discard cards under Ember Imp. He draws the other poison wave. Okay. I mean,
that bails him out.
I mean, that's the last out he had. That's a god draw. That is a very big draw. 2 cards twice in a row under chains, under self-imposed Urchin chains, right?
Yeah. So if you're Trevor, I think you just wipe Dave's board.
You get Tolus value.
Yeah.
Tolus gets so much value.
Like clean them out and then reap. Like if you call Dis here, you get 5 or 4 Amber, right?
There's guaranteed 4 guys on board. So they could be reaping or fighting to get Amber. Potion. Okay, no, I'm okay with blue.
Oh, he has 3 Sanctum, guys. I guess that's fine, too.
He's also going to double Protectrix for his board back, which is really fortunate time-wise, right?
Do you Protectrix or do you kill? Because like, I don't know if healing a Dodger matters that much.
Okay.
Or like a stunned other guy.
That's fair.
Because like, you can kill Umbra.
Gotta kill the Umbra. That's Frankus. Yeah. Frankus's job is to kill Umbra.
Is Frankus ready?
Yeah. He has Frankus and 2 Protectrix.
I'd have Frankus kill the poison guy.
Sure. Fine.
So kill that guy so you don't get stunned back or poisoned. And then use the other guys to lay out the Dust Pixie and then the Umbra, and then just leave him with just an Urchin.
You also got to think that going to 6 doesn't do anything. You got to be at like 8.
Yeah. You know he has Urchins. Like what you actually probably try to do is just you probably just wait for your opponent to get Mass Amber, and then doorstep him. Because his opponent's at 5, if I read that correctly.
Yeah. No, the capture one from Frankus takes him off a check.
Yeah.
And then we have the fight into the Dust Pixie. Okay, so is he just not going to heal at all? Which I don't mind. I just wanted to consider the options of not healing, you know? Or of healing your board.
Well, maybe he's doing that. Like, so I think he's baiting him. Like, leaving the untamed guy there. That could just be a bait to say, hey, look, you have an option to just poison a guy. But the price of poisoning a guy means you're going to let me get a key.
No world tree. No, it is a little strange to... Oh, you know what? Inca has... Oh. No,
nice.
The thing is, Inca has poison. So you would, if you did it with Frankus, it would be okay, but he wanted the Cleansing Wave for 4.
That feels pretty good.
And then the Reap.
The Reap to heal...
Schuler. Schuler. No, it's definitely Schuler because you lost your other Dodger, both your Shadow Selves, and he's stunned. Come on, it's not Dodger. It's
the stunned guy. The stunned is rough. Like, and maybe you wait until you unstun him before you waste a heal on him.
The irony is that Dave God drew into the last board wipe he has. He has some other targeted kill, but like Punch wouldn't get rid of both Ember Imps, you know?
Yeah.
Poison Wave is the perfect tool in the game. You know, I think it's a perfect tool, but he had one left, he drew it, and I was going to get to steal 4 on this monster turn.
I didn't notice he had a Cleansing Wave. I thought he had a Doorstep in hand, so like I misread that. And so the Cleansing Wave makes that Sanctum play automatic. Because it's like, oh yeah, I get to gain 6 Amber plus the Cleansing Wave.
You get the Tolus Amber and the Cleansing Wave Amber. It's
that's what I mean.
Fair. Yeah.
You just like clean up. Like he has like 10 Amber there. Mm-hmm. And Dave can take like 2, maybe 3.
4. He's holding 4 urchins. The other 4 urchins, in fact.
I forget he has so many of those. I thought he had already played one though.
This is okay. Let's take stock. This is the second devastating board wipe to hit Trevor.
Feels bad. I mean that's the game though. You have to accept it. So I think when you play this deck, you just know that that's going to happen a large % of the time. Mm-hmm. I think what hurt him here is that the board wipes hit in the wrong order here. Like he needed to have his protection land in the right way, so that way when this happens, he doesn't lose his whole board.
Remember that he made the choice not to damage that one Shadow Self. He could have had the Shadow Self on the board, right? If he took the damage on the Shadow Self instead of on the Dodger. Right?
Does he have a Doorstep in hand?
He needs to.
Because like that's like his opponent has a million Amber.
Come on, FFG, give me the hand cam.
I could have sworn I saw it.
Yes.
Okay, I did see it. I wasn't crazy.
I'm not cheering for him. I'm cheering about the big play. I like the big play. That's all.
So they're at 1 key to 1 key. Getting Doorstep down to 5 feels super bad for Dave. Mm-hmm. It turns that like monster play into just like kind of an okay play.
He held those 2 urchins and the 3 urchins for a long time. He also played the Umbra and got negative value out of it.
I think he probably played the Umbra to be able to play the urchins later. Like that was, although I guess he drew into the Poison Wave, so he didn't know it was coming. I think he just held the urchins that he wanted to steal.
He held more cards than I'm comfortable with him holding, and still drew into the out under chains. Right?
I will say I do like this play a lot. So Trevor basically said, burn your Amber, reap a couple times, pass. And then Dave just looked and said, all right, I got 4 dudes. I'm just gaining 4 Amber.
Mm-hmm. So the bait response for 2. I think that's actually...
that doesn't take him off check.
Nope. He plays the customs office. So, like we were checking, he doesn't remember about the no other artifacts. The World Tree is already gone. He pops the potion into the Poison Wave, which I like that play a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make sure that play doesn't happen again. Mm-hmm. He probably had that last turn, I think, but like you wanted to make sure your opponent, when they have double-digit Amber, get burned with the Doorstep at that point.
That you have to. You know?
Although he now has pretty commanding board position, because while he is technically down a key, he has a lot of Amber, and his opponent doesn't have a lot of ways to interact with that. Like he's seen, I think, every urchin.
The burn happened too. Did the burn happen?
Yeah, burn the stockpile got discarded. So Dave doesn't actually have any way to interact with Trevor's Amber at this point. Not in a significant way. Like he could play like a Bumpsy or something.
He played the Miasma for an Amber to put Trevor in check. Like Trevor has weathered the storm. And Dave has done some of it to himself, I think. Holding the urchins means that here's that Brobnar turn that's no good because you already lost your Brobnar board and you weren't filtering your deck. Yeah, the no filtering's bad. And then I think, how much Amber does he have there? He might just be able to put him in check and win next turn, I think. Oh, who? Who are you talking about?
Trevor.
I think Trevor can do that.
Whereas, like, I think Dave's only play at this point is you just gotta try to draw as many cards as you can, gain as much Amber as you can. I mean, this is like basic racing concepts, but like your only play is to try to get to 6 as fast as humanly possible. and then that's it.
Discards the Mighty Javelin because he's under the customs office. Oh,
yeah, we might have missed that.
We entirely missed that. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I take back all the things that I said about Gormavon customs office. Anyone who's yelling at me can.
Yeah, that's why Trevor's there and we're here.
That's why Trevor's there and we're here. He plays the customs office, even though that Dave is holding the grasping vines. He's got X-ray vision, and he knows how to win this game. Yeah. Okay, so Dave does have the shuffle here. I think it's draw 3, shuffle, draw 1. So Dave has to find a burn and a miasma or something big? No. Ooh, that's the worst card to draw on a redraw.
It's a 1-card thing too. So it's not even like, even if you drew an urchin, it doesn't matter. That's that's 1 amber.
Miasma. Miasma.
Yeah, that's bad. So if you're Trevor here, I think you actually just go dis and just read 3 times and play the potion. Because if that gets you to 7.
You mean Sanctum?
Sorry, I Sanctum. Because now, like, your opponent has to have 2 ways to get you off check.
Burn or miasma.
Yeah, burn, miasma, or, like, he can't have double urchins. He could have Bumpsy War Drummer. Right.
Oh, I think that's it.
Yeah, okay, he just scooped. He's like, yeah, I'm out.
All right, let's, congrats to Trevor. Okay, so... Actually, before we skip ahead, let's talk about... I want to recap that game, right? Because now they're about to flip decks. It's adaptive now. Right?
Yeah. So while they switch, one thing we can talk about is like... So Dave made a very questionable decision to hold urchins, which I think was like 7 chains or something in total. Mm-hmm. Probably more, actually, because he had the turn where he held extras. So he's holding these urchins for like forever. And the reason he's holding them is he wants to get the steal. And it all crescendos into a turn where he says, Poison Wave, wipe your board, play 4 urchins, steal 4. I'm at 1,000,000 amber. You're at like nothing. And then the response by Trevor is, here's a doorstep.
And,
right? and that was really
Dave
what we
knows
said.
There's 2 doorsteps. If there's one thing you're counting against this deck, it's the double doorstep.
Yeah, now I don't know if Dave necessarily wanted the turn to play out that way. Like, he was probably hoping that when he did the urchin play, I'd put you at no amber and I'd end up at like 7 or something. That was probably what he was hoping for. But the way it played out is like, when you put all your eggs into one basket, you leave yourself open to getting just like, clotheslined by something. And that backfired big time. Like that's really where the game was lost. Because also, if you look at it, Dave wasn't that far off from winning, right? He was at 2 keys, 4 amber, and then Trevor wasn't holding a fistful of amber control. I think he had like basically no amber control. He had like a Frankus.
He had the Frankus. He had a Schuler, and he had the control to weak, which is an amber control, but it's a tool to get off the key charge or something.
It's a key cheat. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Now, so if Dave could have just reaped like 4 extra amber that game, that might be it. Right, because also, like, again, the urchins didn't do anything. Like, the urchins would have just gotten played.
I want to talk
getting more amber.
There's 2 urchin holds that I think are very different in intention, but Dave played them both the same way, and I don't like it. So I'm just gonna switch back to this real quick because that game started up. The first thing he did is early game he didn't play the urchins for just bodies on the board value and to draw cards value. And that's just because he wanted to steal, and I don't think that was worth it. The second time he did it is I think he Faganed the one back, and then he World Treed the other one and just held them. And I think that him drawing the Poison Wave was incredibly lucky. Instead of, like, the lucky that we want to see is he's been filtering his deck and aggressively draws to find the answer, the 1 Poison Wave left. Then if he finds it, then I can say, look, that's why he's filtering his deck. This is the counterexample of that. This is actually getting lucky and saying, this is the opposite of all those games where you go, oh, it's the last card on the bottom of my deck. No, this was, I held all my cards. I didn't discard my Umber. I held all my urchins, and it was on top of my deck under chains. It's the opposite of that feels bad, and it feels great. And then the doorstep takes it all away. So Dave holding the cards, getting lucky anyway, having both board wipes. So the board wipe that came before that too. Oh, I'm rambling right now because I think that Dave played this game badly, drew incredibly well, and still lost. Oh,
I think
I'm on a rant.
Trevor played pretty well, I think. I didn't really see any plays that I was mad about. Like, I think I think he should have played the bad penny, to be honest. Just because like he ended up building a shadows board, and that board would have been better if he would have had a bad penny on there. It wouldn't have mattered at the end of the day because he got board wiped, but it is worth worth getting in there.
The difference is his Shadow's hand was Whispers, Penny, Poison Wave. He plays his card. He draws 3 cards. Draws Dodger, Dodger, Shadow Self. Plays those 3 in the next hand. Draws the second Shadow Self. Right. So he got.
It's hard to predict.
No, I think he drew well against his odds. Like, you don't draw 3 of the other 4 Shadows creatures that often.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he I think discarding the penny is there fine because you don't have other Shadows creatures. If he had played it, it would have paid off because he drew well.
Mm-hmm.
But his choices that I'm interested in aren't the discarding of the penny. It's how he used the Shadow Selves and planned to have this huge double Shadow Self, double Ember Imp, unstoppable lock of a board that he was playing around the last Poison Wave instead of playing around the Coward's End, which
that's reasonable. Okay, so I think when he did that, I think he'd only seen 1 Poison Wave at that point, as far as I remember. I seen 2. Okay, so it's a 50-50.
The Charette died to double Poison Wave, and that's how the Schuler got 4 damage.
So he intentionally left the Shadow Selves on the end, and then didn't damage them via the Dodgers, because that's like a typical play. Is like you have Dodgers fight and the damage goes on the Shadow Selves. So he wants to keep the Shadow Selves clean to get for his Ember Imps.
Well, yeah, but like in this match, no, you're right. Normally that's correct because things damage Shadow Selves, they fight into them, and then the Shadow Selves die and your Ember Imps die. In this matchup, the only thing that he was afraid of was either the last Poison Wave or the Coward's End. And at this moment,
I guess where I think would have done things a little bit differently would have been I probably would have tried to put like a damage on my Shadow Selves.
Yeah, he forgot about Coward's End, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's all. Like I probably would have done it that way. Like swinging with the Shadow Self first, and then swing with the Dodger to hit. Just so that way you don't die to Coward's End. But I think the instinct to say, let's keep these guys clean, because I know against a racing deck, if my Ember Imps don't die, I don't lose.
Yep.
Right? Like, so that's not a bad plan, actually. Because, like, Dave's always going to be drawing more cards in this matchup. Because he's not using his board.
If I could ask Trevor about that game, I would also ask him, was he planning on playing Ember Imps next to it, or Ember Imp and a Tolus next to it? I wanted to know how much he valued the Tolus, because he did use it very well. And I think his play with the Cleansing Wave was smarter than other plays that we had envisioned. Also leaving the poison guy up, because you have to fight Frankus into it. You wouldn't get the Ember off the Cleansing Wave. All the math worked out very, very well for Trevor.
Well, I think also he just knew he was going to be a lot of Amber, right? So if you reap up to like 10, or actually I think he reaps to like 9. If your opponent says, I declare Untamed, and I like play a Nocturnal Maneuver, and then maybe poison one of your relevant guys off the table, you actually probably don't care because you're forging the key.
Yep.
What you're probably more afraid of is the known urchins in hand.
The 2 that he knows about, and the other 3 that he doesn't.
Yeah. So, anyway, it was good. I like the way he played that game.
I want to see how the hand streaming goes now that Dave is playing a less aggressive deck, right?
Yeah.
So now Dave is actually playing he's playing what's the name of it now? The Snappy Pariah.
Yeah.
And it's the slower control deck that he just lost to. I want to see how he changes his playstyle. Oh, quick note, there was a pause in the middle of the stream because the sleeves, the orange sleeves that Dave was playing with kind of popped or something. They had to switch it to these nice new Keyforge black sleeves, which we don't like because they wear out.
Yeah. All right, so Trevor's already playing a little differently. He's playing the Urchin for no value. Yep. He's like, it's a body on the table, worth playing, I'm playing it.
Yep. Love it. Already love it.
So he's on the cards plus board train.
He's already on cards plus board train. And Dave has the other similar hand of the early Gateway.
Yeah, Dave has a really good hand there. You wouldn't play the Gateway. You just Relentless Whispers, take an Amber from your opponent, then Poison Wave. So you wipe your opponent's board. Your board stays neutral.
No, I think he's going to draw 3 cards. He's also going to try to big brain. I know he loves Control the Weak. It is interesting to see him play Control the Weak so soon. I wonder what he calls. We'll find out in a second. But you discard the Gateway now, yeah? which is not on turn 2. You got to remember, Trevor was drawing 2/2/2s as well. Played gateway on turn 2.
Wait. Did he hold the gateway? That's terrible.
No.
You don't hold the gateway here, because I think he did. Because like you're the control deck, you're not going to lose the board control battle to these scrubs. Yeah, that's a really bad hold there.
That's egregious. I don't like that at all. What are you trying to? You know your own deck. What are you gonna do? Get a bunch of urchins and dust pixies off the table? Oh, that's a weird hold. Oh no. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. There it is on the table. His discard pile is just a mile away. Okay. Dave, you're fine. Dave, you know what you're doing.
Early panic. Just PTSD from all those urchin holds.
Yeah. Okay, and here comes the whispers. I don't mind not playing the Shadow's turn. I like the cards plus board train, draw 3, and then he knows that the poison wave is going to get better value, right? He knows his own deck.
Let's see here. So he's gained a bunch of amber.
Here's a question: who's at a bigger advantage in this matchup due to the knowledge of their own deck? You know what I mean? I think
definitely Trevor.
Oh, I disagree. I think that Dave, knowing the speed and tempo of his own deck that is now in Trevor's hands, he knows how to use the tools against it, and Trevor is just going to be making amber, just go boop, 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 boop. Trevor doesn't have to think. Dave has a smarter game he can play now.
I would just say, like, Trevor's going to be able to play Dave's deck more optimally than Dave can play Trevor's deck. That's why I would put Trevor as an advantage.
Dave's, you're saying that the Snappy Pariah with these tools and this board is more complicated, and without the experience, then Dave won't be able to play it very efficiently. That's fine.
Yeah.
Plays. Yeah. Okay. This is clean play. Just playing cards for value. Play anger first, so you don't have to waste your war drummer. That seems great to me. There's a world
just drawing cards.
There's a world where you do some nonsense, like you attack twice into Tabris, but there's a bunch of healing in that other deck, in the Pariah deck. So he's playing the cards for the amber. Now
so Dave's going to be in a very similar position to where Trevor was, where it's like you're going to have to know when to play your doorsteps, right? That's like the one card in the deck you're allowed to hold, and you got to play it at the right time. I think that's a cleansing wave.
No, that's
looking at
doorstep. Doorstep.
How much hit for
2?
That's bad.
On the first key, it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, he still has another one, so it's not like he's hopeless. Like he can still clean up on that. But you also you didn't even get the amber for the doorstep either. It's not a racing deck.
Oh, he didn't.
Yeah.
He was at 5, gets the amber, goes away. Yeesh. Goes to 7. Could have been at 7 anyway, but down a key.
I don't think being down a key matters. Not if you're the board control deck. Like, board control deck should expect to be down a key.
Right. That's kind of where I'm going with this. Is that I don't mind Dave's position if he's down a key. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Holding the doorstep there.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal if you're down a key as the racing deck.
Mm-hmm.
Double urchins feels pretty bad. Yeah. So this right here is why you hold the doorstep, because if your opponent gets a key, it doesn't matter. Right, whereas you need to have an out for when your opponent does it again.
So
it needs to be your closing game card.
Real quick, Tabris is just fight to capture, right? So, Trevor's at 7. Hypothetically, Dave could fight Tabris into Urchin, fight Frankus into the same Urchin. No one takes any damage, captures 2. Everyone's happy.
I guess. Well, he's gonna call this here. Or at least he should. He has 4 discards, one of which is a Restrained Guntus.
I see 3 discards? Or maybe I see 4, I don't know.
No, only 3, you're right. I misread one.
It's fine. The Gorm of Am is fine to play.
Does he have any way to protect them, though? I guess that's the question.
No, not in hand. It's the Shadow Selves and the Bulwark, and those aren't around. Yep, okay, so here's the play that I was talking about. Double capture. Using the elusive kind of choice. No, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, that play makes more sense if you have the doorstep, though.
Dave's gonna hold the special delivery too, which I think is fine.
Yeah, no, that's good. You want to save the special delivery for like cards like Fagin. That's the card you want to ban. You know.
I would also say Witch of the Eye, but I'm biased because I can see it in Trevor's hand.
Yeah, I mean Fagin, Witch of the Eye.
Dust Pixie. I would banish a Dust Pixie.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
There's a regrowth, and I think there's what, 1 or 2 regrowths in the World Tree. That's no, thank you.
Let's see here. So he's in check again.
Dave's in check again.
Yeah, so you don't want to keep fighting these keys. Like you have to build your board. Let's see here.
Check it.
What does he have?
I don't think he has any key control in hand. And he has Schuler in hand, so we should play Schuler. Check it. Yeah.
So if you can, because like the thing is, like if you keep trying to chase the keys, the deck that Trevor's currently playing can generate Amber a lot faster than the deck that Dave's playing can generate answers or questions. Sorry. So it's like you have to just build a board where you can start using the delta to gain an advantage over time.
Does Mighty Javelin Bumpsy potentially fighting into Tabris change the equation? Maybe? I don't think so. But it definitely Javelin for Restringantis or the Ember Imp or some sort of nonsense disc creature. That's a big deal. Oh, but he's got the Gorm.
Yeah, Calling Sanctum isn't terrible here.
Gorm. He pops the Gorm, which I love the play. I think you have to get rid of that Javelin. There are too many good tools in that deck.
Yeah.
But he does go Sanctum again. Interesting.
I'd probably pop the potion. Or I guess...
Okay, fights into the Bumpsy.
Wait, why didn't Tabris take damage?
She fought into the Urchin.
Oh, okay.
The elusive Urchin. And then Frankus comes into the Bumpsy. This is a very strange line of play. Oh, you know
I don't
what
mind.
Is it
I don't mind the Sanctum call.
What's
he could be setting up for the Restringantis.
Sure.
Because if you Restringantis at the right time, you're good.
Okay. And what's he trying to call Restringantis for?
Shadows.
For shadow. Yeah, right. For shadows. Yeah. For the urchins and for the shadow waves.
Yeah, you could call it for Brobnar if you haven't seen the board wipe hit yet and you already have a board.
I mean, those are both true things.
But for the most part, like the triple poison wave's annoying. Like if you can Restringantis and say no shadows, and then all the poison waves are just off the table at this point. So it just puts them on like one board wipe and that's it.
So
they can't steal.
I want to take a quick pause just mentally here and say that this setup that FFG has had is phenomenal. Like there's a lot of cameras and they had a booth and they had a bunch of commentary going. The commentary was okay. I know Devin did the commentary for this, but that's besides the point. Look at that double hand cam view. That was nice.
Yeah.
Right? I wish I could have that. I had the ones at Origins, which was nice.
I wish it was just always on.
Yeah, I did that. I had that, but this is look at the production quality. Like, look at this view. This is great. This is a good way not to always view the game. You still need the overhead shot, but this is nice. Okay, so I really like that that David here drew back into a Charette to go with the Schuler, right?
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and now Trevor still hasn't forged his first key.
Yeah, Trevor's kind of in a rough spot. I think what hurt him is just that he hasn't just drawn the cards that get him Amber instantly. Mm-hmm. He got doorstepped once, but it was only for 2, right? And the rest of it has been he gains a little bit of Amber, and then Dave just takes it away with the Sanctum board.
Let's also talk about the Urchin turn 1, right? He lost that value. Right?
That's fine. Yeah, but he had the opportunity to rebut that potentially.
I know,
because you got to draw more cards.
I was trying to give credit to the other playstyle. Maybe there's something that Dave is doing that we just can't recognize very effectively. I don't know.
I would consider playing the Brobnar board wipe here though.
Those 2 cards. Is he going to cooperative hunting his own witch? No, he's just going to discard.
No, so here's the thing. He has, like, you're at 4 amber, right? If you board wipe here, not only do you get 3 amber back from Champion Tabris, you also kill off his ability to play Sanctum next turn.
Sure.
And more importantly, you don't give him the opportunity to damage Tabris, right? So if
no, I don't like it. I like what Trevor's doing. Trevor's playing 4D chess here. Trevor sees the Protectrix down. Protectrix really wants to heal Frankus, and if Frankus gets healed, there are no tools in the Mighty Javelin is almost the best tool to deal with that Frankus. Mighty Javelin punch or Mighty Javelin with another guy to deal with that Frankus. 3 poison waves doesn't even deal with them. The only way to get him off the board is to heal him and Coward Send him.
No, here's the other side of this. If Dave attacks with Champion Tabris into the girl and puts 1 damage on his guy, those 2 dudes that currently sitting on 5 amber, they never leave the table.
No, you're right. That's the backwards argument.
Yeah, you actually have to prevent that. Like, if you play the board wipe there, you're safe. Now, Dave gave him a window here to correct that mistake. So he can play the wipe and be in a much better spot.
Why isn't Dave playing his dishand? I mean, no, it's fine. There's still shadow. There's still poison waves to worry about. It's weird to see Dave holding 4 cards, but those 4 cards don't have any value right now, right?
I think they're fine. I mean, I would have called Sanctum personally, and I would just want to make sure I have 1 damage on the Tabris. And then Reap. Because you're at 5, right? So, like, if you would have called Sanctum last turn, you could put him in check.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then Urchins come down, and then it doesn't matter anyway. Interesting. Yeah, I think playing around this Coward's End is a thing that, like, if I were playing in a sealed adaptive tournament, or like just an adaptive tournament, that's the sort of thing that when I switch decks, I would know to play around. Right?
Yeah. And also, it's like, because you've invested so much in those Sanctum guys, that's the big reason why you do it. So, like, I don't think I would have done Dave's line of, like, going Sanctum over and over again. But if I do that, I'm then going to make sure I protect my Sanctum guys as best I can.
Right. You've invested in them. They better live.
Yeah. Yeah, like he just gave him 3 amber. Now, he does have the Schuler play, right? So you can Schuler into Charette, keep it going. Right? Charette's another guy that's probably not going to die anytime soon.
Charette dies double poison wave. That's just how that guy dies. If that play comes down, that's how he goes away. And the Nature's Call is there, which is kind of mean. That's the one thing that still gets under the Frankus. I forgot about that when I was talking about the Frankus.
Is Nature's Call in the discard? I haven't seen it yet.
It's in his hand. I just saw it. Oh. Yep, that's how I remembered that Nature's Call is a good answer to that Frankus with 2 amber on it.
Yeah, but it's still 1 less answer, right? And then more importantly, you can get the 6. But he's in a decent spot now. Like, he's going to be at 6 after this. I think. So he has a Restoring Guntus play here. I think you kind of have to call Shadows, right? Because if Trevor goes Brobnar, it actually doesn't totally matter if Fire Spitter hits everything. Like, if he just goes Brobnar. No, but I mean, like, if it's turn is like Brobnar, kill a couple dudes, pass, that's fine. Like, you're the control deck. If they're not gaining amber, you're fine.
But you lose your board. I mean, like Poison Wave also loses your board, right?
Yeah. And then Poison Wave's in a more detrimental way.
Okay, here's why Shadows is still correct.
He hasn't played in a while, too.
Dave is holding... Sure, that's true. Dave is holding bait. He has 6 amber. He wants to forge his first key. Play bait. Right?
Yep.
I mean, it was a lot stronger when that was also take half of your amber, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if bait works the way it does, then this is the most disgusting way it works. The Fire Spitter comes down. He wrecks your whole board. You get all the captured amber back. You bait for half the stuff. You get, like, 4 amber or something. It's gross.
Yeah.
But that's not the world we're living in. Bait still hits for 2. Still not bad. Still a great card, but less good.
Do we know what he called? I guess we'll find out soon enough. Right, but I would call Shadows because also, like, yeah, you want to protect your key. You know, because I don't think he's forged yet, right?
No, nobody is forged yet, which is not surprising for Dave, but is surprising for Trevor.
So if Dave can, let me see here, if he can forge here and then hit with the bait, that's pretty good. Meanwhile, if you're Trevor, yeah, I think the Untamed, having the Nature's Call is great. I actually don't think you Nature's Call the Charette. I think you Nature's Call the Frankus, the Restringuntus, and like the Tolus.
That's not bad.
Because the Charette's just going to come down again, and you actually want to kill the Charette, not bounce it.
Also, you can't play that hard into your own doorsteps, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's the other aspect too. So like if you go up to like, you know, like this much amber, if Dave has a doorstep here, the game's over. Whereas if you have a Charette that has 3 of your amber sitting there, a doorstep's not as detrimental.
And Dave forges at 6, which is just dirty. It feels like a steal against a deck with so many urchins.
Well, I mean that's why you have the Restringuntus though, right? You prevent the steal from happening.
Sure. Okay. I still am waiting for the big Shadows turn to Trevor though, right?
He's streamed in a couple Shadows. I mean, there's 4 of them, so.
And he's still sitting on chains from the Coward's End.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Here it comes. Oh. That Restringuntus is a problem. That's why I like the Fire Spitter play, man. Because it kills the Frankus, it kills the Tolus, and it kills the third guy.
So the great thing about the Shadows play too is that Dave, he gets to potentially have a turn where he gains no amber. So like all those Shadows cards that didn't steal when he had amber are now not going to steal again. So it's effectively like having even more chains.
Gross. Is this play success or is this
geez.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely call Shadows again.
Right.
Right? Like force him to go Brobnar and like kill your shit.
Yeah, you gotta punch the. Do you punch the Ember Imp or do you punch a Charette?
I mean,
I think you punch
an Ember.
I punch the Charette, but I'm just eager to get my key if I'm Trevor. This is really frustrating to be down so hard against
your own deck.
Yeah. Well.
Okay,
yeah.
so it looks like he's calling Brobnar. So I think he called Shadows. The killing the Charette here, not terrible.
Because killing one Ember Imp doesn't do anything. You have Poison Waves, which...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You have a Poison Wave in hand. Okay, so you're fine.
Yeah, you're right. Is it in hand? I don't. That's what the deck is. It's Poison Waves.
Okay.
There might be one in hand.
You also put your opponent in check, right? So you can gain some board tempo there. But yeah, that's like this is a really good run for Dave here. Because like Dave has put his opponent into a position where he's having no card turns. Like his entire turn was just attack with a guy, discard a card, pass.
Now,
which is fantastic.
That Shadow Self that's about to come down and protect the other Ember Imp, that's a big play.
Mm-hmm. Like, that just shuts down the Shadows turn. Because like those Shadows cards, we talked about chains in game 1, right? So like Dave's play where he said you can't play Shadows. Trevor was definitely playing Shadows that turn. So that was, I don't know, 2 chains. So he only played 2 Untamed cards. So he's like 2 chains there, but then also doing it again. That's like an additional 4 chains where you're like, Jesus, it's just like so many cards lost there.
Oh, he uses the Potion of Invulnerability too, which, let's talk about this deck real quick. Double Potion, double Poison Wave in a squishy board is a really good way to shore up that weakness.
Yeah.
Right? I thought he was misplaying because he played the Poison Wave. I go, oh no, you're going to lose your Ember Imps. Nope, not the case.
Yeah, it enables you to still deal with threats without sacrificing. I mean, what you want to do is you want to be ahead, right? Like the Ember Imps really need your board to live, and it's better against a deck like this one where it's a racing deck and isn't going to be very competitive on the board.
Right.
And that way your Ember Imps can actually live.
All right, let's talk about this doorstep. How long is it going to sit in hand? Probably a while. Like,
yeah, that's the one card we hold on to.
I want this thing to chill.
Yeah.
I want to see Dis from Dave for the rest of the game. Just slow reaps till you win.
Yeah, he's in a monstrous position. His opponent can only play 1 card or 2 cards at a time. The relevant board wipes are all gone. The Ember Imp's protected by the Shadow Self. So if your turns are just reap, you're gonna win because you're already ahead on the Ember race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, not quite ahead.
You are absolutely ahead.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought Dave was at 0 keys.
No, he's got it.
Even if you were at 0 keys, he's still in a really good position.
Trevor has a key. You can see it, but it hasn't updated here. on the little tracker they have.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Trevor's in kind of... Okay, what were his other cards that he had there?
Bunch of shadow stuff. I think there was urchins in there, and the poison wave. But he chooses to go with the fight, and I don't mind this play. I think this is a big brain, long-term play. I don't mind it.
I think no, that's a terrible play. Well, you're not drawing any cards, and like your deck already doesn't have answers.
No, you're right.
So like you have to just play the urchins and discard the rest, and just try to draw cards that gain amber. Mm-hmm. Like I think your plays from here on out is like every turn you want to play 2 cards that generate amber, and then just hope that something can kill these dudes. But like you're not gonna have this play just did nothing for Trevor.
Well, how is he gonna kill the Ember Imps otherwise? Because remember, even though the poison wave here does 6 damage it all lands on the Shadow Self. Right? I
mean, what I'm saying is you're not killing them. Like the lock is on. He already has. He has a Shadow Self next to the Ember Imp, mm-hmm. and your cards that can actually directly deal with it are all gone.
I mean, so now is the plan to go Urchin into Ember Imp, yada yada? Bulwark stops it?
So he doesn't discard his other Shadows cards, it looks like. It looks like he's holding on to what I think is another Urchin and maybe something else.
Little thing, if I were him, I wouldn't have my Amber on that deck list. I would be reading that deck list and looking for an answer. Grasping Vines is gone. No, not the other one. The Nature's Call.
Nature's Call is gone. The Coward's End is gone.
Yep.
And I think all of his poison waves are gone now.
Punch is gone. Javelin is gone. Javelin got wrecked.
So like, what do you have? You know, that's where it's like, hey, if you're gonna play towards the poison wave, like that seems great until you're like, wait, the poison wave doesn't actually kill the card. I have to have a dude on the board that can fight, and my guys aren't gonna live.
So Dave here chooses to let the Ember Imp die to an Urchin Ram. Thoughts?
I probably would have made sure it died. The Urchin, you know, just keep the lock on.
The only way that happens is Pit Demon and Ember Imp fights into the Urchin, and that's no good.
He played 4 cards though, right?
Played 3.
That's fine. Like playing cards is good too. Because also he just played Shadows too.
Hold the phone. Trevor doesn't go Urchin into Ember Imp. He goes for Amber. Goes for 6 Amber.
I'm okay with that.
He turns off the steal. It's fine.
Although the potion, he just played it.
Yeah.
But it's like you still have to gain Amber. Like that's how you're winning this game. So he gained 3 Amber on that play.
That's a really big inspiration. The Nocturnal Maneuver, like Trevor really needed to pressure that 3rd key indefinitely, right? Because if you're at 2, you can pressure the 3rd, and every time you're at 6, your opponent has to answer it. Not having his 2nd key to pressure the 3rd is a big deal. I think it's a very big deal.
Why didn't that Dodger just kill the Dust Pixie? What happened there?
I don't know.
He fought into it, right?
It took a damage. It'll die.
Yeah.
It'll go away.
I promise. Maybe
it'll go.
They'll correct the board state.
Yeah. There it is. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And there's the damage on the Dodger, which is nice. You know. Okay, so that inspiration was a huge card. It means that that Dave didn't have to waste the doorstep now. You know, it gets Trevor off, and it means that the turn that Trevor just took essentially was wasted, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is really how you play doorstep correctly. Like, you usually let the first key go, and then it's on the 2nd and 3rd key where you have your on-board capture/steal effects. You let those keep your opponents off keys until they kill off all your guys or have like one massive play. They gain all the amber that they want, and then you doorstep them. That's how you play that card.
So yeah, I'm happy with how Dave Dave has got this game on lock right now, right?
Yeah, he's doing the right things.
What can Trevor do to get out of it? Besides, okay, you have to do step 1, play a Shadows card to kill this Ember Imp, right? This Ember Imp.
He still has the. I mean, it's like, I don't know if it matters enough now. Like he's so far behind.
He needed that key. He really I liked that play last turn. It is a like you leave the thing on the board. It kind of sucks, but you need that key desperately. Yeah. So he went for it, and
it just backfired on him. It happens, you know.
Yeah. And Dave just drew that inspiration, I think, also. I don't think he was holding it for a long time.
Although he has 3 Shadows cards, so it's like not a bad play to just play Shadows anyways, right? Urchin rams into the Ember Imp, you play 3 dudes, pass.
Yeah, the Dodgers aren't going to get
4 Shadows cards. Oh, he has a Poison Wave, actually.
Yeah, no, like, that's a Reap.
So it's Reap, Poison Wave.
I think he was counting, like, is there a 4th damage, a 3rd damage that I do somewhere that's relevant? No. You know. Oh no, if I redraw, now I just turned off my own Coward's End. I don't know. But,
like, you look at that Poison Wave, it's just not nearly as impactful as you see in other Poison Waves being, because, like, all of Dave's dudes are big. So it's like dealing 2 damage to everyone doesn't do anything. And then if Dave, I don't think, has played a Cleansing Wave yet. So when that hits, it's going to hit extra hard.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He
might have played it early. Oh no, he shuffled. He shuffled.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, that Cleansing Wave could be bad, but honestly, getting that second key on Dave's side is just as bad. He still has 3 Stealers, 4 if you count the Frankus, it's a Capturer, and the Doorstep in hand. Does he even play Doorstep now? I think the answer is yes. Yeah, you play Doorstep.
Yeah.
What am I saying? The other one's in his deck. Wow, he still gets to draw into the 3rd Doorstep.
He has 8 Amber. Can he keep him off a key with his board? That'd be the only question I'd ask. No. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So Doorstep. Probably kill the...
Something. Kill something. The Fagin's good. The Umbra's good. Kill the Umbra.
I think you kill the Fagin.
Why? There's nothing in... There's no cards in his discard.
He has an Urchin on the board, though. And he can bounce it.
Yeah, but Umbra is intrinsically more value. Yeah. Get him. It's an automatic steal. And some damage. Instead of the Reap and bounce and fighting into elusive. Ew. Here come Reaps. It's gonna be a Reap. Healing.
I'd Reap, heal. Maybe heal a Dodger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now you can go fight into Fagin. Feels good.
Yeah.
This is rough. Bulwark comes down on the side of the Frankus. Care to comment? It doesn't seem relevant to me. Either side. With the potion of invulnerability, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He probably should play it next to the Dodger, but you're at the point now where the deck has done what you needed to do, right? Like, the first Doorstep was a little questionable. The second Doorstep was great. More importantly, he was able to build his board and navigate through the board wipes. Like, a big part of playing control decks is you have to play around the board wipes when it matters. And you also kind of... Like, it's really hard to have board wipes at the perfect time. That's the other thing, too.
Remember, in Game 1, Dave had both board wipes at the perfect time, in the correct ones, drawing them immaculately, and Trevor
his deck's more resilient.
Yeah.
Right? So, he's in a position where Trevor's like, hey, I got this Poison Wave, and it doesn't do anything because you have a bunch of 5s. Mm-hmm. And that's really what you need if you're Dave, and he got that. So... You're now where you need to be. Also, I think Trevor didn't draw as aggressively as he probably should have.
No, I think Trevor's been drawing pretty aggressively.
No, he's been holding cards. Particularly in Shadows.
Really. Name a card he held.
He held like 3 Shadows cards on the turn when he played Shadows. When he was under Emerald, he just chose not to discard.
Oh, you mean he could have discarded them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a different choice than Dave had. It's a different than holding cards.
I mean, he was holding.
It's not that he didn't, but he couldn't play them. Is the difference, right?
No. He could. Like, he could discard them.
Right.
Like, you could discard them for no value.
But they had value. They had killing Emperor Imp values. They did.
It was like a customs office, I think, right?
Okay, maybe
customs the other guy.
Maybe you discard the customs office. It's not in your deck. But I think that Trevor.
No, I mean, I think he had I think there were creatures. Like, I'm pretty sure he had creatures in his hand that he just held on to.
Urchins are things that it's fine to hold if you can't play them. Under Ember Imp, I don't think it's that much of a sin to hold. I really don't. I think that the Fagin is also valuable enough to hold. But he had Shadows tools to kill the Ember Imp, which means you go Shadows again, you kill it. The thing that happened though is he went Shadows, then he went Untamed to push for that second key, missed it on Inspiration, which was the big play, right? Because otherwise he goes Shadows again and he's fine. He either fights the Urchin into the Ember Imp or he just plays the Poison Wave that's sitting in his hand and he's fine. He plays the rest of his Shadows cards. Like, he lost a turn, right? Half a turn. I'm not mad at the hold.
It's hard to lose turns as a racing player, though. And then also like that hold was well before that. It was like a couple turns before that when he was holding the cards. Now I don't think any of those cards were Poison Wave either.
He had 2 Poison Waves when that Shadow Cell. No, he did the turn of. He only had 1 Poison Wave, but he did the turn of. Oh, no, he had 2. He did the Fire Spitter turn. Then he did the Poison Wave Urchin turn, and then instead of ramming the Urchin in when he drew the Poison Wave anyway, he lost.
Oh, he just called it. Okay.
Like we've been talking about the game because the game was over by the time we started chatting about it, right? Dave played some more cards. Trevor didn't have the juice, and Trevor lost. Dave won. So now the bid, right? Do you remember what the bid was?
As far as I remember, it was 5.
Yeah, it was 5.
Which is a good bid. Like I would peg these decks to be in the 4 to 6 range. Advantage for the control deck.
Oh, something fun's gonna happen. You're gonna start to see me You're gonna start to see me on the right side of the screen watching the game respectfully. You're gonna start seeing Daniel start zipping around the thing like he's the ball in a tennis match, right? Daniel was so excited at this game, watching it go back and forth, and this last game is pretty hype. But there's a lot of things that happened during it that we are excited to kind of talk about and like figure out the mentality behind. So notably, Trevor bids 5 chains for his own deck. And now they're playing their own decks. So Trevor's playing the winning deck at, is it only 5? Yeah, I think it's 5.
5 is a good number. You can make a case to try to bid higher, just to try to force more chains. But as far as balance goes, like the decks are fine at 5 chain advantage.
And one thing I just want to mention, that at this point, nerves are very high. These decks are very hard to play, and this is the finals. Like I remember these players both being nervous about this game, right? So there's a lot of just gotta play by your instinct and all that stuff, right? Okay, turn 1, get the Ember Imp off the table. That's important. We haven't seen that, but the turn 1 Ember Imp is kind of cool.
I mean, turn 1 Ember Imp is potentially devastating.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing under chains. So like Trevor's under chains. So like what Trevor has to do is he has to make sure that the card advantage that Dave has isn't too detrimental, then he can play his normal game. So the Ember Imp is a good option there. And actually, like, Dave only played 2 cards, so like it kind of did partially what he needed to do, which is just slow him down a little bit, you know, not let him have like 4 or 5 card turns.
So I remember this moment. I think I'm standing here at this point. Trevor draws his last card after the chains, and the ruling is if both players can't come to a consensus, then the judge is called about which card was drawn. Then if the judge can't figure that out, then Dave would get to look at Trevor's whole hand, pluck a card, put it back in the deck, right? What happened at this table is that since the judge is sitting right here, looking at the hand, making sure that everything is kosher, Carson, the judge, says, hey, that's the card you drew, you put it back, and everything's clean. And Dave's like, shouldn't I get to look at his hand? And Carson's like, going through the rules right now, you can see him talking about it. Here are the steps. Everything's kosher about this situation. This was handled. I think this was handled well. It feels a little bit bad because not all games are watched this closely by a judge, but that's the rule. That's how it was, and I was happy with how it was handled.
I thought that the judge went about explaining it well. It's a bad rule though. Like you should just be able to look at your opponent's hand.
Oh yeah,
the moment you do that, like that's because in other games you might just get a game loss sometimes.
That's what it was in Star Wars, and that was a problem. That was no good.
Yeah, the rule of like you look at your opponent's hand, pluck a card out. That's fair,
and it's a big advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
that's what you get for misplaying. You know, you played badly, and you're punished for it. But you know, everything's kosher here about this situation. But that's what that little altercation was. Okay, so
all right. So Trevor's drawing pretty well here.
Yeah,
he has like he's under chains, but he has like a number of cards he's playing. Like he has a 4-card untamed card turn here when he's under chains.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he just played 4 cards. So
no,
that's
Dave
really
isn't
good.
Under chains. Trevor's under chains.
That's. Oh wait, sorry. Did I?
Yeah, you got it back.
Okay,
he has a 4-card Sanctum turn though, which is great.
Yeah. Like if you're under chains, you're just hoping that you don't have like 4 straight 2-card turns.
Yeah, the 2/2/1s are really rough.
You're really hoping for like a couple 3s, and if You're really lucky, get a 4. And so here's where you need the juice.
That's good juice right there. The inspiration again to get the racing deck off the key. This time remembering to put damage on your shadow self, fighting into the Bumpsy, which is fine instead of the Dust.
I'd rather fight into the Dust Pixie. Like you only want 1 damage on your guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless you're just counting on the Poison Wave to clear off dudes. Like, that's the only way that it makes sense.
Dave has the Coward's End here, which I want to keep my eye on. Turn 3, right?
Yeah.
So turn 3, Coward's End in hand.
I don't know if you Coward's End here.
No, but I want to watch it.
But yeah, clearing off the Shadow Self is nice. So that would be the reason to fight the Bumpsy over the Chud, and it's just that there's 5 Poison Waves in the deck between both decks, so it's like, they're coming down.
Yep. And I mean, I guess.
And Dave's off to a big lead here. He's already in key range.
He was in key range last turn, but he didn't get it.
I know, but like the board isn't like there isn't a big disparity. That's the big thing here.
And so there's the 2-2-1 hand of chains. It's not a good hand either. Oh no, it is.
Does he have 7 or does he have 6?
He's at 7. It's fight with Dodger, Relentless Whispers, and then think about playing the Poison Wave. No, that's a great hand.
I think you still play the Poison Wave.
Yeah, I play it, but the point is you can steal 2 on this turn.
Amber's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get him off of the key, 100%. I
don't think you burn the potion for the Poison Wave though.
I like burning the potion because the Dodger also has to take the damage.
So you're trying to protect against your opponent's Poison Wave at that point, right?
Sure.
If you do that,
I don't mind doing that. When is the potion gonna have more value? Not now. You have 2 potions.
The potion might have more value when you have more weenies.
Okay, so there's the steal. No, okay. There's a world where you don't potion because you do have the Protectrix Reaping for heals.
Yeah. Because you only have 2 dudes. So you get them off check. That's nice.
Okay, no potion. I'm not terribly mad at it. I think there's a world where you can argue it, but there's the Cleansing Wave. There's the Protectrix just reaping. Yeah,
because also your Dodger's not threatened by your opponent's Poison Wave, only the Protectrix.
And the punch already came down.
Yeah.
Lights Out is good. Ooh, Lights Out for...
So how many cards... So you have 3 Brobnar cards in there?
Yeah. One of them is the Coward's End. Fire Spitter, Brothers in Battle.
I'd consider holding the Coward's End here.
Note that,
just because...
Note that there's no turn Dave can do to put himself at 6 Amber.
Nothing?
Nope.
He has no Amber Pips?
Nope. He has 1. He has...
Which one?
The one on Brothers in Battle. I don't know. What's his other Untamed card? It's World Tree and something. World Tree and... Oh, Grasping... Nature's Call. Right? So he can get 1 on Nature's Call, or 1 on Brothers in Battle, or Be Sad. He can't get to 6 this turn. This is a window. Yep, I like this.
Wait, so there's a 6.
I'm greedy. I discard Coward's End here. I do that because that's how I play this game. I discard things way too aggressively. I don't know if it's right, but I discard.
I think in this game I would keep the Coward's End, just because the big disc board's coming. Like he's gonna drop down like 4 disc creatures at one time.
You're correct.
And you need an answer.
Holding it is correct. I'm just a bad player, and I discard things because I just want to see more cards. Right? I'd rather find my Poison Waves, Like, I need more Shadows cards to deal with my Fagin.
You don't hold it forever, but you probably hold it for 1 rotation. So, it gives you, like, 3, maybe 4 chains. Like, that sucks, but it could be game swinging.
Yeah, getting the important disc creatures is really good. No, I don't disagree. I think holding it's the right move. I'm just saying that I don't.
Yeah.
You have a Fire Spitter. Right, that deals with.
Is that a Restoring Guntis in there?
Oh, it is. You know that it is.
So Restoring Guntis.
I think
Shadows.
I think he's gonna play it here.
Would be great.
But the Brobnar guy's on the board. Yeah,
I love that.
It's still for Shadows.
But you Restoring Guntis, call Shadows, And then
Ooh.
And then you.
Nope.
Okay, that changes things.
Lights out for Amber. Dodger Reaps for the 7th Amber. Is he gonna play anything else?
See, I really would have loved a call where you're like, I play Restringuntus, I then control the weak you into Untamed, because your Untamed list is unlikely to be able to kill my Restringuntus, and the next turn, either one of my Shadows or Sanctum turns kills off your Brobner guy that can kill the Restringuntus.
So
and then put you in a spot where you have to have direct removal.
No, I don't. It's a little greedy, but I want to draw the cards. I'm greedy. I do that.
I mean, he had multiple discards. Like his whole turn was just like use Dodger and use Lights Out. Like he only played one card.
I know the Control the Weak would have gotten him the 6th Amber, right?
He has a lot.
Was there a 7th Amber on his discards? Is the question. And he doesn't want to play Restringuntus into a Fire Spitter. That's the bottom line. I know there's the extra turn that you get to kill him afterwards.
Yeah. Like you have an opportunity to be. Yeah, I mean it's like, so if you call him into Untamed, that forces out the Nature's Call at that point.
And the unexpected co-op hunting, which, there's no reason that Trevor would believe that he has that, but it would have gotten.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, but like that. He's less likely to have that versus anything in Shadows that like the 3 poison waves are all bad.
No, you're right. I don't mind the dis and draw cards turn there. The Nature's Call plus Grasping Vines turn is kind of rough for Trevor though.
Yeah, Dave just like really turned the corner here because he now has Trevor in check. So they're both going to be at 1 key and some change. But the difference is normally at this point you'd expect Trevor to have a board. And he doesn't have a board right now. And he has his hand clogged up with a bunch of artifacts that don't do anything. So
2 of them. Dave didn't give him the potion back, which I think is fine.
Yeah, but he still has like 2 other creatures. They don't have come into play effects. Like, I think Dave had a fairly slow start. But
I think
he's where he wants to be.
Does Trevor have the doorstep? I mean, obviously that's the good card here, but if he doesn't, then what? Okay, so it's the Schuler for a steal.
Yeah.
Is he going to get him off a check? Ooh.
Yeah, I just think here...
Restringuntus probably says no Shadows.
Yeah.
And the Control of the Weak comes down for probably Untamed?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, those are the obvious calls. I don't know if that's what Trevor did.
Yeah, you definitely call Untamed there. You can make a good case to Restringuntus Brobner. Okay. Just to make sure that the board wipe won't hit. But, like, Shadows is... Because also, like, Dave hasn't played Shadows in a number of turns. So calling Shadows there, like, there's a decent chance that Dave has 3 or 4 Shadows cards.
And it's just how this matchup goes, right? That's how Restringuntus comes down, he says Shadows. That's what... When these 2 decks are against each other, that's how that plays.
Yeah. Yeah, when there's 3 Poison Waves in the deck... You know what to do.
Right, so Control the Weak for Untamed hits the nuts. And, okay, Dave is about to draw 1 card this turn, and he's World Treeing for it. Probably going to be the Urchin? Or, no, it can't be because he's...
Any Brobner card.
Right, he's under the Urchin lock. He can't play Shadows.
Yeah, Witch of the Eye, it's a fine pick. It's not like the best card to have, but I don't know what you could have there. Like, you just played an Untamed turn, and then you got locked into it. All right, so now for Trevor's turn, I think you actually just leave the Witch alone and play that Sanctum.
Play Sanctum.
You have a lot of dudes.
Tabris, Double Protectrix, you got to put him on the table. Oh, he doesn't. He goes...
Yeah, so that's just a bad play. You don't really get anything for calling this here.
Yeah.
And, like, if you call Sanctum, like, 4 cards is great. And also you get 3 bodies on the table.
Dave is still holding the Cowards in from turn 3? Turn 2? Does he play it here? To get the to just get the Restringuntus?
No.
Maybe. I don't like it.
Let me see. Does he have Untamed cards?
No. It's
okay, so he has to go Brobner.
3 Shadows.
So his turn would be 2 Brobner creatures pass.
Board wipe 2 Brobner creatures pass. or don't board wipe.
I think what you can do is I think you can play the 2 Brobner creatures and then wait 1 turn.
So here's the
thing. Board wipe.
Here's the question. The board wipe, as far as chains go, is it gets you 3 chains, but it means that you're allowed to go shadows next turn, right?
Yeah.
If he thinks that Trevor's going to forge his second key, then maybe he needs to have the eventuality that he goes into shadows next turn and just take the fact that he lost all his efficiency against the tools that lose your efficiency.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, you do have 3 shadows cards, so like there is a potential for you to just have a mountain of shadows cards, and you're just chaining yourself hardcore.
And like the 3 cards that he would see, like that he's about to not draw 4 cards this turn. That's the 4 cards. That's the 3 cards that you wouldn't see from playing the Coward's End right here, right?
So you do feel pretty safe that you can call Brobnar next turn. The question is, do you have a way to call Brobnar where your guys have damage on them so you don't board wipe yourself? Because if, like, let's say Trevor plays a bunch of Sanctum guys, which he should have done last turn.
Listen to what you're saying. You're not. Okay. You're right. Okay. What my argument is that's not reaping and winning the game because you're the racing deck. You're playing the board game. Listen to yourself. You're trying to play a racing deck like a board state deck. Like, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, it's a question of like. So here's the thing. Like, playing the Coward's End or holding the Coward's End makes sense if you're trying to play towards this. Like, if you're trying to prevent the big board, but now you have to play it, right? So I think holding it the one turn, it's a little suspect. I think I probably hold it for one turn. Like, here's where you 100% play it. I think what you have to do is you have to attack with your guys in a way where they get damage, and I don't know if there's a way to do that.
So look at this. The fire spitter is weird, right? Hold on. Wait. What are you doing?
No. He messed that up. He needs to say. It needs to be the what's it called? Smash needs to swing in.
Oh, he's got anger. No, he's got anger. It's fine. It works. Because now he goes into the other Protectrix and wipes out the rest of the board. Tabra still has no damage. But look at how many turns this Coward End has been in his hand. I know he hasn't done a lot of Brobnar turns, but...
Wait, no, hold on a second. No, this is very bad.
That's what I'm saying.
So you have to play the Coward's End there. Because there's a way where you can play the Coward's End to clear off his whole board and keep your board alive.
The tricky part is that you have a fire spitter, and when he fights, he peppers your opponent's board anyway.
No. What you do is you say smash attacks Restoring Gun. Let's get to damage on himself.
Okay.
Right. Then you swing with the fire spitter at probably Protectrix.
Okay.
To put damage on himself. It doesn't hit Tabris. And then
anger kills the other Protectrix. That's what it just did. What that turn was is everything that Coward's End did without playing Coward's End, except for Tabris lives, right? The Coward's End just kills Tabris, and again, he holds the Coward's End.
Like we just saw in back-to-back games, like Tabris taking Amber matters because it enables your doorstep.
No.
More importantly,
we saw in back-to-back games that holding cards matters.
Well, he held on to the card.
The Coward's End has been in his hand since turn 3. I remember we were talking about the Coward's End and we were wanting to watch it, which is why I mentioned it. Hey, look, there you are, scoping out the Coward's End in his hand. You're gonna run to the right and talk to me about that Coward's End because we wanted to talk about how we held it, right? And look, he's got a time to play it, but now he's holding 4.
Yeah, I just think so holding it the first time, you can get away with that, but you have to play the second time because now. We've gone through multiple Brobnar rotations where that card's just sitting there. And now he plays it, but that Coward's End cost him a lot of chains where he should have played it last turn. Because also, here's the other thing. If he plays it last turn, if Trevor has that exact same turn, Dave can still wipe his board if he has 2 dudes.
The thing I don't like is that we're talking about this Coward's End like it's this golden card. It's really not. Okay, I take that back. It's very strong in this matchup and probably really important to kill those creatures. But Dave hasn't put on any key pressure, and he's been holding 4 Shadows cards for 3 turns.
This turn that Dave had was just a potato turn. So it was this turn where because he held on to the Coward's End, he felt the need to get value while he could. And he looked at his opponent's board. He's like, oh, he has 2 creatures. I might as well play it here. So he took a really suboptimal Brobnar turn there just to get it out of his hand when he should have just gotten it out of his hand the previous turn.
Why did he just hold 2 urchins? Oh, Dust Imp. We're fine.
Yeah, okay.
Draws the Poison Wave. Classic Dave, draw on the poison wave when it counts.
Hey, you got 3 of them. You got to get them at some point, right?
I know, right?
So if you're Trevor here, I think the move has to be just this, right?
Yeah, you have to kill the Urchin. Or the Umbra.
Yeah.
No question. I don't know what you do about the Fagin, but you have to kill the Umbra. Maybe you do 2 attacks to get into the Fagin. I don't know. Do we see a poison wave? Nope. We just see some aggressive attacks.
I mean, you're at 1-1. There might be a case to just reap.
He pops the potion.
I guess you have to get the Fagin out of the way. Like that's where this gets a little.
He doesn't even use the Pit Demon. Okay, so
yeah, he fought.
He expects Dave to go into more shadows, which is fine.
Yeah.
And he also uses the potion to not lose whoever fought into the Fagin to that poison wave, right? Because he would have taken.
I wonder what's in Trevor's hand, because he didn't play cards.
Mm-hmm.
So, like that's where it's like, okay, I don't know if protecting your disboard matters enough versus just playing cards.
I will say that the game we're watching right now seems much different than the game we were watching when we were just like watching it from the back. You know, knowing these players' hands is really interesting. Is there a doorstep? I think I saw a doorstep. I saw some pips. I saw a potion. I thought I saw a doorstep.
He has a million Shadows cards in hand, so that's the other thing. You could be waiting for Dave to give him a little more juice.
3 Shadows, 3 Sanctum. We're both right.
Oh, okay.
He's got the bait. So here comes the bait. Gets him off check, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see him counting out the bait numbers. There it is. For 2.
If he baits for 2, followed by a poison wave, that feels pretty good.
Yeah.
And
discard penny. I'm fine with that. No wave. 5-5, 1 key apiece. Final game. No more chains. This is like a good adaptive final, right? This is like I mean, is this a close game, or is Trevor just playing the better deck right at this point?
It's pretty close. I'd say that Dave has a little bit of an advantage here, just because like Trevor hasn't been able to build a board.
Yeah, that's true.
Dave should have a bigger advantage because he held on to that Coward's End for a little too long,
and all the Shadows cards.
Yeah, so he should be a little bit more ahead than he actually is, but like this is still very winnable for both players. Yeah, and Trevor had the same thing happen in this game as game 1, which is like, hey, I got my disc creatures, but I happen to land them right after you played your board wipe, so I don't have the protection for them, which feels pretty bad.
It feels weird how Dave's deck with all this weird incidental ping board clear has been like perfectly effective against its other deck, right? Like the timing has been very strong, and the amount of kill is just right. I would have played Dave's deck entirely wrong. I think the way I pilot Dave's deck is very different than him, and it turns out a very different game. Dave is making choices that are leading to these games. This deck hasn't won yet, so maybe they're wrong, but
I think he's playing for the most part better this game than he did game 1. Like game 1 was really bad. This game, like I think the only thing that I've seen so far that's been really bad has been holding the Coward's End on that second time. Like the first time was passable, the second time was not passable, because then it also led to the third time. Like the third time you call Brobnar when you don't have to.
It's funny because you and I disagree entirely on when the Coward's End gets played. I say you play it in the first time, you say you play it on the second time, and we both agree on the third time because you got to play it. So maybe
the third time he didn't have to play it. I think he just felt compelled to play it. Like he just was tired of seeing that card in his hand, and he just said, I'm going to do this really bad Brobnar turn because I want to get rid of this card.
Tabris double Dodger is no joke. That's what he brought. That's what he Coward's End away. So that was fine.
He gains 3 off that. That feels pretty good.
Also, the doorstep hit for like 2 or 3, which was great. And I know that like that's 2 doorsteps, right?
He didn't. Did he? He didn't. I don't think he played a doorstep did he?
He played a doorstep while we were jabbing.
Okay.
Yeah, he played a doorstep. Dave was putting him in check, and it was mean. Dave played like reap or something, and ended up at 8 amber or so.
Yeah, bad luck for him. He has 2 urchins here, though.
It was the first doorstep. There's the second one. Draws it right away. Gets burned. That hurts. Actually, getting burned really sucks there.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor, he's in a more precarious spot than it looks because again he needs a board, and like Dave's deck is much better at being able to push Amber than Trevor's is. So like Trevor's priority needs to be building the board, which is also why I like that disc turn I didn't love a lot, just because you're gonna need this board at some point to win me the game.
Doing the triple fight, I do a double fight and then leave. You can't leave the Fagin and the Umbra. He was right. Just not actioning with the Pit Demon feels weird, but you have to do it because either of those creatures nets a steal anyway. So no, it was right.
Well, there's no guarantee that he calls Shadows next turn.
Yeah, there is.
Okay? You don't know he's holding two Urchins.
He was under an Ember Imp. He's got some sort of Shadows trick, or just fighting with the Umbra or the. It was a right move. It feels weird, but it was right. But where are we now? They both want this second key so bad.
So I think it's Dave's turn.
It is.
The move looks to be pretty obviously Shadows. I'm trying to figure out what he's waiting on if it's his turn.
Well, maybe it's not because he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Amber. No, he just played. No, Dave just played the.
Okay,
burn. Dave did the burn, the Bumpsy, the Reap.
All right, so it's Trevor's turn.
Okay, plays Dis. So Trevor is holding. He's holding a Fear, which is so bad here. Fear is such a garbage card in this spot.
That Bulwark's in a pretty bad location.
Where should it be?
Well, it should be on the edge because like if you want to get like one of your relevant like disc creatures, you want it to be next to the Bulwark.
I think Pit Demon is relevant enough to warrant a Bulwark.
No, I'm talking about the Frankus. Frankus doesn't need to be next to the Bulwark. These are all a bunch of weenies.
Okay. This is not the first time he's put Frankus next to the Bulwark. I think it was in game 1. Maybe it was game 2. But I saw it happen. Maybe Dave might have done it. You're right though. I think Frankus doesn't need to be there. But does he play Fear or does he discard Fear? I think it's weird. I think you have to like play it on the Bumpsy.
Yeah. You fear the Bumpsy pretty quickly. Because like who cares? Like he'd have to call Brobnar again, which means he's not gaining Amber. You losing 1 Amber doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, totals. Okay. Now you can play the Fear on the Bumpsy pretty free.
So like that's why you'd want the Frankus to be on the other side. Because if that Tolus is next to a Bulwark, that feels fantastic.
Ooh, now we can Schuler into the War Drummer and get a special delivery value, all with Tolus. I like Tolus in this deck.
Especially in this matchup. Like if you're up against like decks that have a bunch of like weak dudes that you could just pick off, Tolus becomes the anti-Soul Snatcher and it feels great.
This Tolus is garbage against an AoE deck or something. By which I mean a board deck. Okay, there's the Fear for the Bumpsy. There's a special delivery for the extra Tolus Amber. Yeah, I like these plays. These feel good.
And then Dave's off check, I think.
Yeah, took him off check with the Pit Demon. It was only 1 Reap, got him to 6.
Yeah.
No.
So Trevor's now turned the corner. I feel like Dave's window is closing. Like his play needs to be just push Amber as fast as he can. This board's not gonna repair itself at this point.
And notice Trevor shuffling with the one doorstep in deck, 1 in hand. So Dave, point being, Dave has been watching for the second doorstep. Dave knows there's a doorstep in hand. He knows he has to 100%. He has to play to 7 or 8 and bait out the doorstep. There's no question. Also, he probably tries to kill Sanctum creatures. That hand doesn't kill any creatures. That hand stuns creatures.
So interesting note here. Trevor's the one playing with chains, and Trevor's actually drawing his deck first.
You're right.
In truth, it was deck first. Yeah.
You're right. How did that happen?
Dave's just holding cards.
Well, also Trevor had some good Restringentist turns. There were some Ember Imp Restringentist turns that really wrecked Dave's efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, I think like those Brobnar turns are big though, because like a lot of turns by holding those, and then like I think especially the turn where he actually played the what's it called, the board wipe was really bad because he didn't do anything that turn. He killed like 2 creatures.
That 3-turn Restringentist sequence is our most contentious point of this game, right? We play those turns entirely differently. All 3 of us, you, me, and Dave. Trevor was fine in those. He's doing all right. Who did he just regrow? Somebody? I don't know. I guess regrowing before the deck shuffles is strong. Oh, it gets Witch of the Eye. Under Tolus? Ew. And under Frankus and Tolus? Okay, that's got to stun Frankus, right? No? Okay.
That's fine.
I don't know, man. Well, why not? Okay. Did you plan?
I mean, Frankus is good too. Like either one of them's fine. I don't know if I don't know if that's a very impactful turn.
He does play regrowth for the Witch of the Eye. Is there a world where you get regrowth for like a not green dude, like an Urchin?
Well, like what's terrifying here is you're down a key all of a sudden, and you're the racing deck.
Mm-hmm.
That's really bad, especially when your opponent now has like the board's not at critical mass, but it's very close. And
the doorstep is looming.
Yeah, so like you can't. Well, you need to reap to like 7 or 8 if you can. Force the doorstep out, and then just like start pushing.
Mm-hmm.
He's at 6 now exactly.
6 amber. I see 6.
Yeah. So the question here is, why didn't he go Shadows last turn? He has 2 Urchins in hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his turn could have been play 2 Urchins, reap with an Urchin, get up to like 8 or 9, force out the doorstep.
Takes Trevor off of the key.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked that.
And then next turn you play your Untamed turn. Because like that doorstep, because also like you're not forcing the doorstep out here. He has 2 different houses that can just take you off a key because you're only at 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I just pit. Well, actually, no, Pit Demon's stunned.
Yeah.
But he can Frankus fight a guy, take you off key, and also gain the amber from Tolus, which is bad.
The Tolus amber is gross. And the Tolus amber is pretty much one-sided in this matchup because Dave is not going to kill things unless it's with a large-scale board wipe.
Which is gone.
There's an argument for Dave's turn is that he doesn't lose the game on this turn, and he needs to get these Untamed cards out of his hand. I don't know if he needed to play all of them on the board the way he did. Like, maybe Ink of the Spider just goes away because of the Tolus. Like, this Tolus is a big problem.
The Inca blocks either Frankus or Pit Demon, which is fine.
But it nets Trevor and Amber.
But I think you really need to play that Shadows turn. Like, because those Urchins have been sitting in his hand forever. So, like, those Urchins have been in his hand
I'm having deja vu when you say that. Not really.
Since, like, it was since, like, the... remember when he had, like, the Ember Imp?
Mm-hmm.
Like, a million years ago? Like, that's when he initially held those Urchins, because he's like, oh, I'm under Ember Imp. I'm going to hold on to the Urchins. The problem with holding them there... Yeah.
Man.
And so then it's like, all right, well, now what do you do?
I don't know. I don't think it's had in that long. I mean, it's a little hard to track.
So I think the reason he... Well, no. The reason he might have gone Untamed there is he only has a couple cards left in his deck. Maybe he was afraid of the redraw and he wanted his regrowth to hit something for value. Maybe?
The regrowth hit the Witch of the Eye. I wanted to see regrowth for not Witch of the Eye.
Maybe get a Dust Pixie, force out the doorstep.
That's fine, yeah. Or...
Well, there's a Pixie in there, so I guess he drew into it.
He drew into 1 Pixie. He has 2 in deck. Maybe the other one's in the deck still, but, like, I guess he's forcing the fight, but with Tolus on the board, it doesn't matter. Right?
I mean, so your opponent has 3, you have 5. You just gotta play the Urchins here. I mean, like, they've been sitting in your hand for way too long.
He's got the Poison Wave now to get rid of the Tolus, which is helpful.
And, like, that... I just feel like the Urchin should have just been there last turn. Because like they're really holding him back.
Dave wanted to draw 3 cards on a dud turn when he didn't lose the game. That's fine. It's not great. He's in a bad spot, but it's fine. Also, like, this game was even at one point.
It does lose him the game, though. Like so where it loses you the game is that you're not pressuring the doorstep, and you know it's going to hit you.
Right.
So, like,
this
you're
is like
yourself...
you have to be playing at a finals level mentality. You have to be pressuring the doorstep. I agree.
So Dave's Untamed turn there set him back at least 2 turns of being able to win the game.
I see. Okay, I agree with that.
And that's the problem with that play. Okay, so he's finally playing the Shadows turn. But this is the other thing. So he now has, like, I don't think he had the Poison Wave initially.
I agree.
But this feels worse now because now it's like, okay, I took that Untamed turn, it did nothing. Now I'm playing the Shadows turn, and now I'm going to get doorstepped. Whereas if he just plays the Shadows turn,
is he going to hold
then he can go into Untamed.
Is there a world where he holds the urchins? Did you see that? He just held both urchins because he wants to pressure the doorstep at 7. Your play of doing the urchins a turn earlier is probably right. He gets the doorstep, but
and that's really bad.
Doorstep reap. Like, okay, that seems like a great turn.
Well, now his opponent's at
why are you 6. Playing the Umbra? Okay, the Umbra's fine. It gets Frankus.
Umbra's fine. There's no Tolus anymore.
It's Frankus though. It's fine. The Umbra's fine. But like, yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. The Untamed turn set Dave back 2 turns. We would have been mad at him because he was holding all these Untamed cards and getting chains like that. But like, the doorstep. Well,
no, I mean, I don't think he was holding Untamed cards for super long. He had 3 Untamed cards.
He would be
versus 2 Shadows cards. And like the 2 Shadows cards versus 3 Untamed cards is fine, especially if the Shadows cards do more. Like the Shadows cards actually force out the doorstep, and the Untamed cards don't.
Yep.
And then as we saw, he drew into the Dust Pixie. So like he gets like, okay, here's the Shadows, and then you drop all the Untamed guys, and then now you're in position.
Yeah, just playing urchins gets you tempo and cards. And the charrette to take Dave off of that key is really rough.
And now Trevor's in check again. So like that's the other aspect too. So it's not just that you yourself aren't going as fast as you need to go because you're the racing deck player. You also are letting your opponent to have a couple extra turns with a Tolus on the board to try to push for game.
Oh wait,
Dave is an Untamed.
Dave's an Untamed right now. He doesn't have it.
It's over. He's done. Like
GG.
Yeah, that was bad.
It wasn't terrible. The game 1 I think was worse. I think the end game of this could have been played a little bit better by Dave, but Trevor was significantly ahead, right?
Yeah, and Trevor, he was correctly playing towards the win there, right? Like I think once he's like, okay, I'm ahead here, I can just start pushing for game because my opponent's not going to have enough Amber control, and just let the urchins hit.
And he kind of knew how the deck was going to play out. Anyway, good game, good finals. I was happy with that final. I think the bid was fine at 5. It could have been a little higher. I don't know if it was higher and he lost, then we would have been saying the opposite. 5 is a fine bid. The deck was significantly stronger in the long term anyway, so that could argue a deeper chain bid there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think the story of this whole match is don't hold cards. Don't like holding cards just like it derails your plans so much. And it's like you don't think about it in the moment of how much damage it does to you long term, but like you can see it in all 3 of these games where like now in game 2, Trevor holding cards was unintentional, right? Like he just got but like we saw games 1 and 3, Dave just chose to hold a bunch of cards because he wanted to get full value at urchins. Also, when he didn't play those urchins at 1 turn, that was inexcusable. Like the
game 1 holds were inexcusable. The game 2 ones were a symptom of his earlier misplays.
I mean, I think if you look at the last like 4 turns of the game, that was really, really poor play by Dave.
Well, yeah, I think the poor play followed his other poor play. I think that I also think that it's less poor play and more poor play style, right? Because a lot of the moves that he was making was very consistent with the rest of the moves he was making, right? Dave was playing this racing deck like a very conservative, calculated, I'm going to steal your stuff when it's time, I'm going to... And I'm like, there's no payoff to that. There's no payoff to holding cards in that deck, right? You're not waiting for a timing, you're trying to go for pressure. And Dave was going for the steal pressure instead of the playing and drawing cards pressure. And I think that's incorrect.
Yeah, I don't think he also understood that there was a clock on the game, right? So my guess is that in a lot of the games he was playing, like in the earlier rounds, he's probably up against a bunch of other racing decks that had similarly crap boards. And so what ends up happening is your Poison Waves and your 1 big board wipe in Brobner are enough to clean off almost all boards. So if you actually hold your urchins, you can win against other racing matchups if they're always hitting for full value, and if your urchins if your Fagin's actually living and then that's hitting for full value. So like there's a world where like his playstyle works against a certain type of deck, but when you're up against a deck like the one that he was up against, you have this problem where like when your opponent's board hits critical mass, they can start taking you off keys just via the board. And if you ever get a little too cute with like Dust Pixies or Urchins, then they just hit you at the doorstep. And so now you have to actually either finish the game before your opponent can start playing, or you need to be able to interact, which his deck just can't do.
Right.
And that's really where now I don't know how much of an adjustment you can make on that, right? My guess is that he's probably been playing his deck that way for so long, and also his deck's really good. That's the other thing to remember.
Really good.
He has 2 Urchins. He has a regrowth. 2 Dust Pixies and a regrowth. He has 5 Urchins. He has a
with the Fagin, the burn. Like
triple Poison Wave is obscenely powerful against a lot of decks because board control decks don't really. Yeah. So, like that's a deck where you can also just play it incorrectly and win anyways.
Yeah, there's key charge. Like sometimes you'll win off of that. Did we see a single key charge that game? That set? No. And maybe that was the way that deck had to win, right? A lot of times we saw the second key getting denied, which means that the key charge is not active. You know, it's not there to win, right? And that's a big deal. But yeah, I thought it was I was excited with that match. I think that the players played well. You know, we went over that, but like the decks were good, the matchup was good, the tournament was a bloodbath, right? There were a lot of good players in the field, ourselves included. You dropped the game. We can talk about that later.
Oh God.
But I dropped my games as well. I lost my games. I think I could have played around things a little better. But
that was about as the way I lost is about as bad as like holding a million Urchins for the whole game.
No, he had the Witch of the Eye lock. He dropped the lock. He also left the thing on the board. He got showed. It was a bad time. We're not gonna talk about it. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was a good game. This was a good cast. I'm happy to have casted this game. Maybe if there's enough response, we could do I heard the top 4 game that was streamed was also really good.
Okay,
maybe we can do some more.
Look into that.
But yeah, I heard that the FFG casting was okay. I heard that that Devin's casting was better than FFG's. But I really was happy with the analysis that we gave to this game.
Yeah, I mean,
congratulations to everyone at this tournament. Congratulations to especially Trevor and Dave, but you know, everyone in the top cut, everyone at the tournament. We had a great time. We met a lot of great people. We had a lot of fun.
Something that I remember in person that you don't see as much on camera is just how nervous these guys were.
Their hands were kind of shaking a little bit.
Yeah, in the video you can't see it, but like in person, these guys were both sweating bullets, and I don't know how much big game experience they each have as far as tournaments go for other games, but like I think they both acquitted themselves fairly well. Like you said, like we questioned David's play. But a lot of that's a play style choice, right? It's not like he's sitting there and he chokes. Like the only like real choke job was probably the 3rd Brobnar turn he took, where he just like, oh my gosh, I've been holding this card for so long, I gotta play it, and then holding the 2 Urchins.
If you watch other finals games, those are the tense games, right? If you watch other finals games from other Vault tours, you'll see some actual choke jobs, right? I remember.
I mean, we saw Nathan choke on the 1 yard line in the Denver Vault tour.
We saw Kiramode choke on the 1 yard line in this Vault tour. Oh wait, you didn't see that. I did. I'll tell you about it later. Check our Discord or something. I don't know. But yeah, there was my one I remember is Atlanta, when he played double Library Access into a Dust Imp and then just had to pass. That was bad. Was rough. I know we gave that one a lot of. I tried to give that one a lot of credit, but that was a rough play. But yeah. I remember when we were watching this game in person, the holding of the Coward's End seemed a very different dynamic than it did here, right? Like, I remember us being really mad at it, and now I'm mad at it for different reasons. Maybe you're mad at it for the same reasons.
So when I saw it initially, I remember I thought he should have played the Coward's End the first chance he got.
That's my argument. That was my play.
that was my first instinct. But also, at the time I didn't see what Trevor's hand was, right? So like my opinion, I know what I'm saying is I think my opinion of it maybe gets skewed because I know that that Trevor has 3 Sanctum guys on deck.
It's very easy to backseat game when you can see everything. That's
so,
what we've been doing for the past 2 hours.
But then, so I remember in the moment when he didn't play it the first time, I thought that was bad, right? Then he didn't play it the second time, and I was about to lose my mind. And then when he took the Brobnar turn, that was only 2 cards over I think it was like a 4-card Shadows turn that he had.
It was.
There was an option for. And then he's like, yeah, I'm just going to play the Coward's End here. And that's where it's like, okay, if you're going to hold the Coward's End that long, you better not use it on 2 creatures.
Thank you.
Right. And so he, like, I remember just watching that whole sequence of Coward's End in the moment and losing my mind. This time, this time I was like, okay, holding it the first time, you can talk me into it. The second time, there's no excuse. And then the third time, that was clearly just
And I was standing I was standing on Trevor's side, and I thought that he was in a very strong position and he was buying a lot of turns, which is what happened. But yeah, that was a game. I mean, hey, that's a game worth rewatching. That's a game worth rewatching for those players especially. But I think it's a very good Vault Tour. Good games. Congratulations to everyone. All right.
Yeah. Also the Untamed turn at the end there too, like towards the end. I remember in the moment I thought it was bad, and looking back, it looks a lot worse than what I even thought. Because like I didn't. So like what I didn't know at the time was, again, I didn't get to see Trevor's hand, so I didn't know. Like I remember I saw his hand.
You knew
he
had the doorstep.
So
you did. I know you did.
Yeah, I knew he had the doorstep. Right.
I told you.
In the moment, I remember I was looking at like Dave's hand, and I'm like, God, if he goes Untamed here, that'd be so dumb if he does that. Like, just you got to play the Urchins here. And my thinking at the time was, you play the Urchins to bait the doorstep, right?
And your thinking now is the same, but even stronger.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. The difference is I didn't know how well, what's his name? How well Trevor's hand was set up to actually close out the game.
Sure.
And so, if I knew his hand was that good to close out the game, I would have been even more upset that he didn't just play the Urchins and force it out.
Sure.
You know, and that's where I'm like watching, like, geez, he set himself back so many turns. Because like if you look at the end of the game, it looks hopeless.
It was 2 turns, and that was your guess, and that was right.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so you hold yourself back 2 turns, like those 2 turns can win you the game. Because also you saw, like, okay, like if you
wouldn't have won on the game.
No. Here's the thing. You look at his last turn. He plays out his Untamed turn, and he gets to like 10 amber.
No, he doesn't.
Right.
Okay, yeah, but no. He would have been still holding the Witch and the Regrowth. Okay, you know, maybe.
It would depend
which Regrowth and the Regrowth would have been. There would have been a shuffle in the middle. I think. Maybe a shuffle. There might
no, because that would have been the second turn, right?
Because
like
0 cards in deck. Yeah.
That Untamed turn came 4 turns later. Right. That Untamed turn, like if you think about the turns of like sequence, he went like Untamed, then Shadows, then I think he went Shadows again, then he went Untamed. Like that should have been Shadows, Untamed, and then probably Untamed Shadows or something like that. But like if you just switch the order of that, like that big 10 amber swing that he has, or big 10 amber turn, that would have been on the second turn of that sequence. And so now Trevor can't stop that second key. He might be able to take a little bit of amber, like he can steal here or there, but he's not finishing them off, and that opens a door for like Dave to actually potentially close the game out.
Key charge, some sort of key charge play.
Yeah, like there's the window can get open.
The shuffle is there. Anything can happen after the shuffle.
And so he just slammed the door shut on himself by calling that Untamed play.
Your commentary is correct but harsh. but ultimately, like you look at the facts and they're right. But yeah, I don't extrapolate it out as far as you do, but I think you're right. You got a point. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the thing about like
they were good players, and that was at the end of the game, and I'm sure that Dave was even thinking that it was over. He had to draw more cards and find an answer. But you know, if you want to go back and watch it again, check it out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
watch those last couple turns again.
All right, go back and watch those, and let me know what you think. All right.
All right.
But for now, we'll talk to y'all later. This has been another BDQ cast. Let us know if you take us out, Daniel. You know all the stuff.
Yeah. So we are on CoDameron's YouTube channel. This is where you watch all the videos. But if you want to listen to more stuff, we have a podcast. Our podcast can be found everywhere. So we're hosted on Anchor, but you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, everything. On top of that, we also have a Discord. So if you want to find our Discord, it's through our social media via Facebook or Twitter at Deathquark for either one of them. You can find an invite link to join our Discord. And inside of our Discord, that is where you meet the rest of the community. It's the easiest way to contact either one of us directly if you have like a question on the deck or just want to get our opinions on something. And then lastly, if you want merch like what we have an online store. So through our Discord, you can find via the swag section. There is a link there to our store. It's a Spreadshirt store. And you can buy all sorts of stuff. You can buy T-shirts. You can buy accessories.
What does your sleeve say? Show me your sleeve.
So I got my sleeve. So this side says cards plus board, and then this side says at Deathquark.
Yeah, and I got one that says BDQ, and it's not this one. This is like the Jersey one.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and just a final thank you to everyone that we met at Gen Con. We had a blast at Gen Con. We had a blast meeting the whole Keyforge community, talking to everyone. FFG was. They were there. They were helpful. I wish they would have been a little bit more helpful, but we got a stream up finally. We made it work, and now we're doing this. And they provided a good stream, quality wise, and just hopefully one day they have casters that you guys all know and love. All right. Anyway, thanks a bunch. Thanks for watching. See y'all soon.
Catch you next time.